I know it's pretty early in the morning right now. It's 2:45 a.m. 2:47. Yeah, 2:47 a.m. where I currently am here in New Jersey. Just grabbing something out of my cooler real quick. Don't know why I would have kept it in the bag. But, yeah, I'm here getting unloaded. Really short, easy run tonight. So I delivered yesterday, Sunday, because it's Monday now, in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, at the Walmart Distribution Center. And I delivered in the morning, Sunday morning, and there was no freight. There was 2 loads on the load board after I got unloaded. So I went to a truck stop, hung out at a truck stop, watched football, and for some reason, I was in the back of my trailer just kind of making sure it was clean and everything like that. I happened to pull up the DAT load board, and there was a load that picked up tonight at 10 o'clock at night, deliver 6 a.m. this morning. So pick up Sunday night at 10 o'clock, deliver Monday morning at 6 a.m., going 89 miles. And I had about a 45-mile deadhead. So I called the number that was on the comments, and they answered. And I was like, hey, I'm empty right now. Like, I can get to your load. So I went and picked the load up. I got here about a half hour ago, and they told me to back into a door. So they got me in, 4 hours before my scheduled appointment. Broker needed this move, man. I think I got lucky. I think it ends up being like 110 miles, 112 miles I had to take this load. $750. And I'm already getting unloaded. And that it puts me in a better spot for this morning when I can get on the load board and find something else. Welcome back. What's going on, man? Mario's in the house. What's going on? Jamie O's in the house. Good morning. So yeah, kind of bored. Took a nap later yesterday, so I'm not very tired right now, which is okay. Like I said, I'm getting unloaded right now. Found an awesome spot market load that picked up on Sunday night. Wasn't supposed to deliver until 6 o'clock this morning. Not many miles on the load. I mean, I think it was an hour and a half drive from where I got loaded to where I'm delivering. I'm in Keesby, New Jersey, and I picked the load up like over by Quakertown area, Quakertown, PA. Keesby, I think, is where I am. So I figure once I get unloaded here, I mean, they're gonna start unloading me any minute. I already had to pay my lumper fee, which is odd. How you pay a lumper fee without them touching your truck is kind of weird to me, but whatever. They have a system, I guess. But once I get unloaded here, I'll be set up for, come 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm in New Jersey. I know this market. There's gonna be all kinds of loads to choose from. So I'm glad I was able to get out of Pennsylvania on a Sunday night, which is crazy to me. But yeah. Jamie, the animals in the house. What's up, driver? How are you doing? Punish and Protect's back. What's going on, brother? You must work the early shift, because you were in last time early in the morning too. Make you a moderator, by the way. A lot easier to make people moderators this way versus going through StreamYard. But Jay's in the house. Cheers from Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Stay safe. You too, Jay. You too. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I think I got pretty lucky. A broker needed a load move Sunday night. I happened to I don't even know why I looked back at my phone, because I was watching football. I had gotten out of my truck. I had put new DOT tape uh, on my bumper and on the top part of my door, or the bottom part of my doors for my trailer, and I was just in my trailer cleaning it out, and I happened to look at the load board. Yeah, I mean, $750 to go 80 some miles all in. I think I don't even know how many, like 130 at the most. I can't I can't complain. I just cannot complain. Hey, quick question. Neither, Waffle. Neither. I don't support either of them. And that's my right as an American. I don't have to support somebody that I think does not have my best interests in mind. Only we have our best interests in mind, in my opinion. You know, I've talked about this before a little bit. I'm kind of more of like a libertarian. You know what I mean? I kind of believe in less government. So what's important to me is like my local government, like where I live, who's kind of sitting on the city commission, who's sitting on the board, stuff like that. That's the stuff that kind of matters to me, because I live in that community, you know what I mean? I want to know like where a lot of my tax dollars are going in the community that I live in. Once again, I don't think those people have like my best interest in mind, but I feel like at least my voice is heard more when I'm sitting in a city council meeting, because the reality is there isn't many people at those meetings, at least where I live. So if I have something to say, I can get up and say it, and I feel like it gets heard, which is what I like. Have you seen anything scary? Yeah, I looked in the mirror. I just went to the restroom. I see myself on camera. Ruthless Records? I can't really see your avatar there. Hopefully you know what Ruthless Records is. If not, that kind of tells me your age. Punish and Protect. I am a railroader. Time means nothing, basically. Yeah, that's tough work, man. That's what my grandfather did. My grandfather retired from the railroad. I tried. How'd you get into that? Punish and Protect? Because I want to say back in like 2005, maybe, I tried to get into the railroad in St. Paul. I'm trying to remember who it was. It's right off of where their shop was right off of Highway 61, and can't remember that road that goes down the hill. But I went and applied online. I went and met with somebody at this little office building over there, and I tried to get into the railroad, and I didn't make it. You'll be working at 0600. Man, get some rest. Or 0600 tomorrow? So you got some time. Cheap freight haulers in the house. What's going on? Show the hog. No, we're not going to do that on YouTube. That'd get me banned. You know, you can send me a Cash App though. Money sign F8truckin, and I won't send anything in return. But feel free to send money with the idea I might send a picture of my hog. That's funny. Do I deliver in Canada? No, I do not. I do not deliver in Canada. I kind of operate strange. I'm from Minnesota, so I run like Minnesota or Wisconsin out to the East Coast and then back to the Midwest. I've kind of ran the same lane. Now I came back to work from vacation. Ooh, can't lose that. That's my lumper receipt. I came back to work on the 4th of September after taking like 12 days off. So I've been running the exact same lane since the 4th. It's what I do. Oh, friend told you about it. Cool. You are correct, Faith. People are not showing up at city council meetings. Very sad. Yeah, man, it is sad. Um, I don't always show up. Let me be clear. Like, I think I've been to like 3. You know what I mean? But at least at least I feel like, if there, like I said, if there's something that I feel is wrong with what they're doing in the area I live in, I can say something. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know. I think that's more like, that affects me more directly. My local government, my state government affects me more directly than, the president of the United States. You know, I and like I said, I don't have to support either one of them, or any of them. I don't have to support any politician. That's the great thing about this country. We don't have to support anybody, and we're not going to be locked up for it. You know. I don't remember which one it was. Punish and Protect. It was years ago. Um, I was hauling drywall at the time, and actually, a buddy of mine from high school, his brother worked there. And I don't want to say the name, because you and I went to high school together, and I could tell you privately, but I don't want to put him on blast on YouTube. You know the guy I'm talking about. Incorrect says, what do you do on your days off to keep you busy? My days off when I'm at home? Um, Spend time with my wife, go up to the camper now, uh, hang out with my kids, all kinds of stuff. Hang out with friends, have barbecues, bonfires. I really don't have a lot of time off when I'm on the road. If I do, I try and set it up to where I can go. You know, here's the great thing about YouTube. I've met people off of YouTube that we share common interests, and I've made friends with people that live out here on the East Coast. So, like, if I'm out here and I have a day off, I'll go hang out with them. I typically don't take time off when I'm on the road. The only time I would really need to take time off when I'm on the road is if I'm broke down. I'm out here to make money. I don't run a lot of miles, you know what I mean? But I stay busy. I do a lot of multi-stops, multi-pickups. It's kind of my forte. It's what I specialize in. Other people don't like doing it, and I don't mind doing it. So my days when I'm out on the road are pretty damn busy. But when I'm at home, I like to fish. There's, everything you do when you're at home. Mickey agrees. I have no idea what I said. What's best in cheap insurance? Are you talking about, like, what type of insurance are you talking about? Cargo insurance, bobtail insurance? There's so many companies out there, and a lot of it depends on your experience, and your credit. Um, you know, that all that stuff matters. Um, Pancakes, waffles, or French toast. Um, so I don't eat any of those right now. Well, I take that back. I do eat pancakes, but they're from a restaurant near where I live because they make vegan style pancakes. And just because I say I eat a vegan diet, it's not because I'm some crazy, like, tree hugger or something like that. I wanted to try something in the beginning of the year, and I had a buddy who does like 2-3 months of eating a vegan diet, and then does 2 or 3 months of eating a vegetarian diet, just to, like, keep him, like, self-discipline, I guess. So I decided to kind of do it with him, and I really enjoy the diet I eat, and I eat a vegan diet. But like, if I had to choose, French toast. French toast used to be like my favorite breakfast meal. French toast, a couple of scrambled eggs, and some bacon. But I don't eat that anymore. Mickey Shell says, I'm local Wisconsin home daily, but I used to drive a spotter at the CSX Railroad in Bedford Park outside of Chicago. I agree that the local government is more important than who is president. Man, where in Wisconsin? Not too far from you, probably. Um, Skinwalker, you've been. Yeah. Diddy here? No. No, Diddy does not enter this realm. Um, hey man. I'll five. I don't have much hair to dye anymore. I don't care about flags. Once again, I live in America. You can fly whatever flag you want to fly. It doesn't matter to me. I find it funny how so many people are so entrenched in like other people's lives, when the reality is most of us, including myself, like we should focus on our lives and what, you know what I mean, like do the best we can every day and stop worrying about all the outside noise. Like, and maybe that's a naive way of looking at things. I mean, I've raised 3 kids. I you know, I believe that I live in a country that you can do and say and be whoever the hell you want to be. You know what I mean? And I do not, I don't care. I don't care what anybody else does as long as they are not doing something that hurts me, hurts themselves, or hurts like a child. You know what I mean? Grown adults, teenagers, like, I don't know, man. I like to stay in my lane and focus on my issues, my problems. If I go on the outside of like me and worry about everything that I am not in control of, I would probably be a pretty pissed off human being. I try and live my life controlling the controllables. And those are things that I had to learn in life, focus on myself, focus on my family. What can I do to be better than I was yesterday? How can I be a better father than I was yesterday, a better husband than I was yesterday, a better friend than I was yesterday? And all the outside noise, I don't listen to it. And it makes me I feel like I'm happier that way. Madison, oh, that's a nice area, yeah. You're about 4 hours away from where I live. Hello from Russia. Wow, it's a long ways away. How long you been working today, boss? Not very long, man. I had a pickup that picked up at 10 o'clock at night. So I delivered, hold on. I delivered Sunday morning in Pennsylvania. There was no freight on the load board where I was. So I went to a truck stop and just kind of hung out, showered, cleaned the truck, cleaned the trailer. And out of the blue, I just happened to get on the load board and I found a load that a broker needed moved. Somebody fell off of it. It picked up Sunday night at 10 o'clock. It was supposed to deliver this morning at 6 a.m. I showed up here at like 2 and they put me in a door right away. I still got a green light. They haven't unloaded me yet, but I'm still 3 hours ahead of schedule. And where I am, I'm in Kisby, I think I'm saying that right, Keesby, New Jersey. So when I get unloaded here, 7 o'clock in the morning, when 7 o'clock in the morning rolls around, there's going to be a lot of freight to choose from in this market that I'm in. This is a market that I'm very familiar with. I know there's going to be a lot of freight here, more freight than where I was in Pennsylvania. Oh, I'm not chill. Sorry if you thought I was. I probably did go on a rant a little bit. And I'm not. People, how do I say this? I get a lot of crap when I mention the word that I eat a vegan diet. And I get it. But it's, I wanted to see if I could do it, for one. And two, I've never felt better. Like, I used to play hockey. I'm beat up. I used to deliver drywall. My body, I delivered drywall and structural steel for 13 years. My body is like beat up. And the minute I switched diets to eating more whole foods, like a lot of my joint pain, a lot of the pain that I was living in, like, went away. What I would like to do is introduce things back into my diet, because I miss a good steak, a good hamburger, prime ribs, like my favorite thing. I would like to start introducing some of that stuff back into my diet to see what it was that was making me feel the way I felt. You know what I mean? Because then I can just eliminate that one thing instead of eliminating everything. Like, I miss cheeses. I don't really miss milk, even though I used to drink a lot of milk. I've really gotten used to, like, oat milk and almond milk. And I don't think I would ever go back to regular milk. But like, I miss yogurt. There's things I miss. You like feeding you're not ashamed. We're doing good, Roger Runner 45. It's hard to see the names and everything on the screen like this because it's so little. I do logistics for wind farms. You guys are insane, and I appreciate it. Well, thank you, man. I don't haul oversized freight like that anymore. Heavy haul stuff. I used to do that. I like reefer work now. Reefer work is I've done reefer style trucking more than any other type of trucking. So when I decided to become an owner operator and start purchasing equipment, I felt comfortable doing reefer work. And I, because I had so much experience in the industry, I knew that the area I live in is a very good freight market for reefer freight, and it pays in the market that I live in a hell of a lot better than like dry van freight. The market that I live in, come springtime, there is some very high paying like flatbed work in the area I live in, because they don't build anything for 4 months out of the year. So the minute the thaw happens, the flatbed works. You can throw a stone out the window and hit all kinds of flatbed loads. Never. Roger Runner 45. I heard East Coast is the worst place to drive. I used to hear that a lot too. Wow, they are unloading me already. Sweet. It's really not. There are parts that are very congested, and somebody asked me in a live show the other night, what state out on the East Coast do I like or least like driving in, and I said Connecticut, and I still stand behind that. Close second is Massachusetts, but Connecticut, I don't like driving in Connecticut, and I don't go to Connecticut that much anymore. I used to go there a lot, but the new lane I'm running, I don't get up there very often. But Jersey, New York, not New York, like upstate New York, I don't know, it's not that bad. I don't think it's that bad. And it pays well though too, you know what I mean? Freight out here is different than, now I don't know much about freight out on the West Coast because I don't really go west of I-35, but once you get to the eastern part of Pennsylvania up into the northeast, like, I think freight pays very, very well. And if you find the right lane, it pays, like, it pays very well. Cheap freight hauler, East Coast is the best. Yeah, it's not bad, man. I don't, you know, I've been running out here for 4.5 years now, and I don't know why I would stop. What type of accent is that? I'm from Minnesota, northern Minnesota. Northern Minnesota. Right. I would recommend fasting. Yeah, I've never really done fasting before. I don't know much about it. I know you don't eat, but I'm sure like you have water intake and stuff like that. I've never done a fast before. I don't know if I could. I like to snack. I like to grab a piece of fruit, an apple or a banana during the day, you know what I mean? I'm sure I could fast for, you know, I could eat like one meal a day, but it would be hard for me not to eat, like I said, a banana or an apple in the morning, just because it's become so normal for me to, it's almost like second nature to wake up and eat an apple or eat a banana or something like that. Processed foods will make you sluggish. I believe they will. And I'm not, hey man, eat whatever you want to eat. By no means I'm not one of these people that expects other people to do what I do. I do it because I wanted to. You know what I mean? I wanted to see if I could do it. And now that I enjoy the foods I eat, it's not hard anymore to like come up with a good meal that's not full of preservatives. And you know, the reality is a lot of stuff we eat in this country is not like good for us. You know what I mean? And getting rid of sugars, I think I used to eat probably 2 candy bars a day. I did eat a lot of sugar, you know what I mean? And then when I switched to this diet, not even a diet, when I just decided to eat different, the sugars I intake now are like your natural sugars from fruit, not like fruit juice, but like a banana. You know, stuff your body can break down. I don't have a lot of that high processed sugars and stuff like that. And you know what? Like, I don't crave it anymore. I used to walk by, you know, go up to get a fuel receipt or something, and you see the big Snickers bar there, and you know, I felt like I had to buy it, you know. Slow. Thanks for voting. I'm not voting for him or the other candidate. Putting cheese between the toes. I work paper mill and deal with a ton of y'all. Well, hopefully we treat you kindly. I know a lot of truck drivers. We sometimes have attitudes. We'll say a lot of people we deal with out here on the road, bringing them their freight or shipping and receiving offices. Some of those people are the rudest people that I deal with. Honestly, even the truck stops, like the people that work at truck stops, man, like they're so disrespectful. But I'm, like I said, I kind of always look at things like, well, you know what? The guy in front of me probably yelled at him, you know what I mean? And they're taking their frustration that they have for their last customer out on me. That's, you know, how I look at things. Mark says, I'm thinking about driving. What's your honest opinion on the job? I'm single and have no kids. How do I say this? Depending on how old you are, if you like don't have a career that you're happy with, trucking has given me everything that I have in my personal life. My houses, my cars, my retirement, everything possession wise that I own in my life is because of trucking. I have a very love hate relationship with trucking though. I think trucking is a good career. Um, there's all different types of trucking. Understand that trucking is not a 9 to 5 job. Even if you're running local, there'll be people in this chat that'll say, oh, I'm home every day at 3 o'clock. I start at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., home at 3 o'clock. That does happen. There are jobs like that. Most of the jobs in trucking, though, are not that way. You're going to be up early, home late, or you're going to be up late, home in the afternoon. You know what I mean? Trucking's 24 hours, seven days a week, 365 days a year. You know what I mean? Find out what you want to do. I think trucking is a good career if you want to, even if you don't want to go over the road. I know you said you're single and don't have kids. Like I said, depending on how old you are, if you went and got a job at like Cisco, US Food, something like, I have buddies there that make like $130,000 a year. Now they bust their butts to get that, but they make a killing. It's hard work, but they make really good money doing that stuff. I used to make a very good living being a local driver. I've been a local driver, regional driver, and over the road driver. I used to make, I said it the other day on my live show. My last job before I started this, I was making $75,000 a year being a local driver. My schedule was 4 days a week. I worked 6 to 7 days a week though, because I got paid very good overtime. And I wanted to make more money. You know what I mean? So had I stayed there, I probably would have been in, I would have been in 6 figures very easy had I stayed there. It's just, once I got the itch to be an owner operator again, it was hard for me not to do this. And I'm glad I did. You know what? I never did cross that bridge. You see it from 95 right before you, like kind of right as you're going down 95 to go under the tunnel. But I never had to go over to that part of Baltimore. So no, I never crossed the bridge, but I saw it. What was that, last week I saw it? Looks pretty crazy. You got a bridge and then nothing there, But no, I never want to cross that bridge. Why the bandana? Because I like them. I have hats too. I wear a lot of hats and bandanas. Just yell as loud as you can. Nicholas, how much are we talking for EC freight? Enough to support a family. What's EC freight? East Coast freight? I support a family of 5. My income, my wife's a stay-at-home mom. My income, like even before I was running a business, my income in trucking provided for my family. Like I said earlier, trucking, everything I have in my personal life is because of trucking. Doesn't mean it was always easy, but I think I've lived a pretty darn good life for not living like up to my potential when I was younger because of life choices I made. Cheap Freight Holler says, I used to run a lot up 95 to DC and Baltimore a lot. Lost that deal this year, though. Hopefully I'll get it back next year. Oh, that sucks, man. It's tough market right now. Meaning, it's cutthroat. let's just be honest, it's cutthroat. Everybody can do it for a couple of cents cheaper. You know what I mean? But then there's people like Cheap Freight Hauler, me for instance, like I'm not gonna be out here and cut like what I think is like my rate, my value. You know, kind of what Just Truckin' says. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna run something for nothing. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense for me. I don't understand either, man. Maybe because it's easy to make, cheap to make, and fast to get out on the shelves. Um, I want to say about 4 years ago, maybe it's been five now. My wife and stepson started a small garden, and over the years, it's grown. Like we have it's average size garden, I guess, in our backyard. And I'll tell you what, I really wish I was home more because I would even have a bigger garden. I mean, we're growing squash, zucchinis, tomatoes, watermelons, pumpkin. Um, I think we did beans. Did I say cucumbers? We're growing a lot of stuff now. And I'll tell you what, it's so rewarding to go outside and pick the food that you planted, that you watered, that you took care of, and then eat it. It's rewarding. Is trucking worth? You know, Mustafa, did I say your name right? Mustafa. I think trucking is worth it. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. You're not going to find me talking about how bad the freight market is and trucking is just crap and blah, because I don't operate that way. I'm a business owner. Like, if I thought that way and spoke that way, like, I do believe we speak things into reality. You know what I mean? If you talk an industry down enough, if you talk yourself down, you talk your job down, you say it's worthless, this and that, well, that's what you're going to get out of it. You know what I mean? I cannot reiterate this any more than I already have. Everything I own in my life is because of trucking. It's come at a sacrifice. It really has. And I believe doing what I do now is less sacrifice than when I was a local company driver home every day. The reason I say that is, yes, I'm gone for periods of time right now, right? But when I'm home, I'm present. When I was a local driver, because of what I chose to do locally in Minnesota, I would go to work, come home, eat, maybe go to my daughter's softball game, soccer game, school function, and then I would go home and go straight to bed. Like, that was my life, because the schedule that I had and like, I couldn't say no. Anytime I got asked to do extra or stay and do overtime, I always said yes, because like I said earlier, my income supported the five of us. You know what I mean? I had to make as much money as I possibly could to support my family. So yes, I think trucking is worth it. The isolation, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. I love the isolation. I do YouTube because it is a form of interacting with people, even though I'm not like talking to them. But I actually thrive in being alone. It gives me time, like I said earlier, it gives me time to reflect on myself. It gives me time to strategize my next moves in business, not just in trucking, outside of trucking, other things that I do. I feel really prepared when I make decisions because I've had so much time to myself to think about it. And then when I discuss something with, take my wife for example, if we're gonna do something, go on vacation, buy something, I've had time to like process it and we have a conversation about it, you know. So I enjoy the isolation. Some people don't like it though, because it is a real thing. Um, you have to have some mental toughness to do this job over the road. You have to have some mental toughness, um, because I've shared this on my channel before too. I've been in jail cells that are bigger than what I live in. You know what I mean? And have had more accommodations than places I go. You know, there's times you're on the road that you can't use a restroom because they won't allow you to. You know what I mean? Anybody that's been to jail, you know, like if you're locked down or something like that, like there's 2 people. Sometimes there's 4 people. Places I've been, 4 to 5 people. You got to do your business. You got to do your business. But there's places out here that you can't even do that, you know. I've been thinking about getting my CDL. Should I pay for myself or should I find a company to pay for it? That is such a great question, Cameron. Hopefully you're still in here. Hopefully I said your name right. I believe you should pay for it yourself. The reason I say that is a company's already going to kind of have you by the balls when you're a new CDL holder, right? Like you're going to have to go through the like training process in trucking. You're not going to make, like, I believe starting pay in trucking should be more than what it is, but you're going to have to start at the bottom just like any job and work your way up. If you have a company that pays for your CDL, you're gonna have to sign something saying you'll work for them for X amount of time to pay back what they paid, or they're gonna back charge you for it, or they're gonna take money out of your check to reimburse them for paying for your CDL. I recommend not giving a company that kind of power. I think you should go out and pay for your CDL training yourself, get a job, work there 6 months. If you don't like it, find something else in trucking. But you don't owe anybody anything when you walk out those doors. Roger Runner 45 says people are extremely cold-blooded now in days. People just want to be at. Yes, I kind of agree with that, man. Insult investors in the house. Hit his comment. Don't know why. Stay safe out there. Good night. Thank you for stopping by, Roland. I appreciate it. No, trucking's not dead. How can trucking be dead? I'm looking at a huge. Well, I'm in a cold storage facility that has a huge FedEx terminal next to it. I have seen hundreds of trucks come and go. Trucking is not dead. Cheap Freight Hauler says, would you go back to a company position if someone offered you double what your last company paid you? No. That sounds ridiculous. I know it sounds ridiculous, Cheap Freight Hauler. There would be contingencies on that. Like, I'm not asking you if I can have days off. I'm telling you I'm having days off. Like, the freedom that I have today, I cannot put a price on. Now, like I said, maybe that's from 13 years of working in a union where I had to fill out vacation slips at the beginning of a year for a vacation I wanted to take 10 months from then. You know what I mean? And if I didn't have enough seniority and somebody else had those days off, I couldn't go on those vacations. I hope I never, ever have to fill out a vacation slip again. I hope I never have to call somebody and say I'm running late. No, I don't. I would rather do something else. If this doesn't work out for me, I would rather do something different than trucking. I've been in this industry 26 years now. I've paid my dues in this industry. I'm not like trying to have like a big ego here, but like I'm good at what I do. I'm a reliable, dependable person. Even when I was an employee. So you're either gonna, like you said, pay me double what my last job did, which means I'll take on the responsibilities you want me to take on. It's just gonna come with some contingencies. If I'm not at work, I'm not at work. Plain and simple. Like, don't call me, don't bother me. I'm not gonna ask for permission. No company's gonna go for that because they have a business to run. Just like if I had employees, I wouldn't let them dictate the terms of the job that I'm providing them, Man, you drove across that bridge 2 days before it was hit. Isn't that scary? So I'm from Minnesota, and the I-35 bridge in Minneapolis collapsed years ago. Probably 2000 and... Man, when would that have been? 2005, maybe? And when that bridge collapsed, I had driven over it a half an hour before it collapsed. To the point where my dispatch, my mom, my dad, my brother, everybody was calling me. And, that back then we had flip phones, you know what I mean? We really didn't have like the technology we have now. But I was driving and I'm like, I can't answer the phone. And all of a sudden, I was driving back to Bloomington, Minnesota, and there was no traffic. There was no traffic behind me, and there was no traffic going, what would that be, south. And all I saw was fire trucks, ambulances, state patrol flying down the southbound lanes. And I got back to our terminal and I parked the truck and I walk in and everybody was like, oh, Scott, you're safe, blah, blah. And I'm like, what's everybody talking about? And I walked into the break room and there on the TV was the bridge collapse. And the sad thing was a guy I used to work with, his brother was on a Bobcat road construction crew. That's what caused the bridge to collapse. There was so much weight on expansions because they were doing so much bridge work that it failed. And his brother died. His brother fell into the river in a Bobcat and died. Super sad. Cheers. My streams are getting bigger. Well, it's doing it this vertical way. Insult. If you notice, there's a lot of people in here that, like, you might not recognize from the StreamYard lives. Once again, if you're new to my channel and you want, like, some trucking content, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up on videos. Like I said, you're going to hear me complain about my day, but you're not going to hear me complain about the trucking industry. So I do believe trucking YouTube is right now very, very negative. There isn't a lot of positivity coming out of trucking YouTube channels. There are a few, but I personally think a lot of people had expectations and did things in their personal lives that the industry is in a downturn and they couldn't survive the downturn. That's my personal opinion. It's easy to see when people go out and buy $250,000, $220,000 trucks and, really just want to be Spot Willie Jones. Like, the spot market is not designed to completely run your business off of. Now, I know a lot of people do it, but that's like, that should be a fraction of your business. A lot of your business should be dealing with customers or direct shippers. I personally believe that, and I personally believe that's why I'm as successful as I am in this, because I knew from experience, and then I had great mentors that showed me how to go out and get customers. I picked a carrier to lease onto that I knew the owner of the carrier was all about expanding his business. You know what I mean? Which he knows the importance of dealing with customers. Yo, yo, yo. You could never trust a stay-at-home mom. Why not? Why not? I was a latchkey kid growing up, and so was my wife. And I know the trouble that I got into in my early years. And then, you know, when I got a little bit older, I'm not blaming my mom and dad for those things, but I don't think I would have gone down some of the roads I went down had I had a parental figure at home when I was at home. You know what I mean? So my wife and I, we made a decision. Man, I think my youngest was in second grade. My oldest would have been in fifth grade. My stepson would have been in fourth grade. We made a decision that, hey, why don't you stay home? You can get the kids to school, if you know what I mean. Like, they'll always have a parent at home when they get home from school, because I'm a truck driver, man. Like, this isn't a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? I can't promise you I'm going to be home every day at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the bus was dropping the kids off. So we made a decision to... Oh, they already got me unloaded.
Here is door for giving paper.
What was that?
A receiving office. Paper.
Oh, receiving office?
Yeah.
$20. $20.
I have no cash.
No, $5.
Okay, well, after I send you.
Right down here, door one, right past 129.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's right here.
Thank you.
Yep. There's only signs all over that say drivers this way to the shipping and receiving office. Tried to get $20 from them. Road Ranger says, Roger Run 45 says, when do you see your family? ? So the way I operate lately has been, I stay out for 3 weeks, I go home for a week to 12 days. So like I said, I got back to work on September 4th after taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days off. Today is what, the 23rd? I'll probably be home on the 30th of September. So I'll basically run the whole month of September, and then I'll take, like I said, I'll take 7, 8 days off. And if something comes up during a week that I want to be home for, I just go home. But I saw the value, not even the value, I saw the difference in working like 2 weeks, taking a week off, and then coming back to work. If I just stay out here, my revenue is, obviously because I'm running, I get better. My revenue is higher because I get the opportunity for better freight from my customers if I run the same lane for like 3 weeks. So that's what I've been doing lately, is running 3 weeks, go home for a week, and then come back out on the road. Let me be clear though too, like, my kids are all grown, 20, 19, and 17. You know what I mean? So they still need a father figure, but like, my oldest doesn't live my oldest is living back at home right now, but moving out in like a week again. They're in college. Stepson still lives at home, but he works every day. The youngest is a senior in high school and figuring out what she's gonna do. So like, I don't need to be home as much as I used to be, if that makes sense. What's up, F8truckin? Where my prime drivers at? Just finished my miles. I should be getting my own lease truck. Well, congratulations, man. You gonna lease it at Prime? I won't say anything. Congratulations, man. Anytime you can level up in life, I think that is a good thing. Just make sure you read have somebody look over whatever contract you're going to sign. Pay an attorney to look over it. You can do that for like $150. Have an attorney look over something before you sign anything. That'd be my advice to you. But good for you, man. Insult bedtime for me. Well, good night, sir. Thanks for stopping by here. I got my answer. You're amazing. Just subbed. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Hi, how you doing today? We're doing good, man. We're getting unloaded super early. They put me in a dock door 4 hours before my scheduled appointment. For all you that don't know, like I said, I delivered Sunday morning. So yesterday morning, I delivered Sunday morning, and where I was in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, there was no freight on the load board. It's Sunday, you know what I mean? I do have a customer load that picks up on Tuesday. So I was just like cleaning my truck. I was in the back of my trailer, and I happened to open up the load board, and there was a load that was picking up Sunday night. Somebody had fallen off of it at 10 o'clock at night, delivering Monday morning at 6 a.m. here in New Jersey. It went like 86 miles. They gave me $750 to do it, and I got loaded, drove straight here, which took about an hour and a half, and they gave me a door right away, and they're unloading me. So because I know this market, what I've done is I drove here. Come 7 o'clock this morning, there's going to be all kinds of freight here in New Jersey. I can go back to Pennsylvania. I can go up into Mass. I can go a lot of places that aren't very far away and make a very good day rate and be able to pick up my customer load on Tuesday morning, tomorrow morning. Right? Because today's Monday, yeah. This guy's walking back that asked me we're streaming. I'm gonna tell him to send me money. No problem, man. I'm just doing a job. Don't get it twisted here. Like, this is gonna sound very egotistical. Like, I'm a business owner, right? Like, I'm not doing this to keep America moving. I'm doing this because it provides me a very good income and allows me to live a life that a high school graduate with a little bit of college under his belt can do. I mean, I make very good money doing something that I feel very confident in. You know what I mean? I appreciate the kind words. I don't need them though. If that, like, I'm not being an a-hole to you. I do appreciate it, but the reason I'm out here isn't to keep America moving or food on the shelf. It's because it pays me a lot of money to do it. If that makes sense. One more question. Do I support foreign dispatchers? Well, now you're probably gonna unsubscribe. Tell me what you mean by foreign. If you're foreign and you are a foreigner and you live in this country, then yeah, I would support you. I can't work with somebody that's sitting in a desk in a different country that doesn't know, so here's the thing with brokers, right? Brokers or dispatch. You should work with brokers or dispatchers that are in your area. You know what I mean? Because they know the area. You know what I mean? If you're telling them that you have to go to, Union City, New Jersey, or Jersey City, like, somebody that runs into there knows, man, that's like, it's very tight roads. You're usually getting loaded from the street, unloaded on the street. You're blocking traffic. I don't want to be dealing with somebody that, A, there might be a language barrier, 2, doesn't understand what I'm going through. So, I hate to say it, no. I personally wouldn't work with somebody that isn't, in the area that I'm from, if that makes sense. Thank you. God bless you as well. Hey, brother, could you say something positive for me? I need it. Hang in there, man. Hang in there. It's about to be a new day. Tomorrow's gone. Live in the present. Don't worry about the next minute. Worry about right now. I don't worry about, like, this is going to sound weird because I used to struggle with this stuff, man. Like, I've struggled with mental health. I've struggled with alcohol, with just about anything that would take me out of myself. I have struggled with in life. And I've learned how to realize the importance of living in the moment and understanding what I'm in control of. You know what I mean? And it's made my life so much easier and so more, like, I feel blessed to have the life I have. Before, I was so unappreciative of the things that I had. You know, and I'm not just talking materialistic things like my mom, my dad, my brother, my nieces, my nephews, my aunt, my uncle, like the people that love me. I was so self-centered that I never thought of anybody outside of myself. So if you're going through a tough time, just understand that it passes. Just like everything in life, it moves on. The point of life isn't to worry about all the problems because life will beat us down. It matters about moving forward from our problems, if that makes sense. Oliver's in the house. During COVID in the UK, places were refusing drivers access to bathrooms, so our companies refused to deliver to them. Damn, man, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. People always say, oh, like in a vlog, yeah, they won't let you use it. Why'd you deliver there? Well, I didn't know that they don't allow you to use the restrooms. It's not a question you can ask a broker, you know what I mean? But that gets back to what I said earlier. I know most of the places I go now. Now, like this load was a spot market load, so I didn't know where I was going. This facility is actually really nice. They have overnight parking. It's a, what's the name of this place? It's not, I think it's a ShopRite. In Keesby, New Jersey. Love lizards. Yeah, look at that. He or she made $165,000 last year at Cisco. Good for you, man. I used to work at Cisco for a short time. I had gotten laid off from my job back in 2008, and nobody was hiring drivers in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. So I went and worked as a picker at Cisco for, I don't know, I was probably there 6 months. Not a bad job. And you could make money based on your productivity. You know what I mean? How many cases, if you were at 100%, you received bonuses. It wasn't a bad job. It's not what I wanted to do. I took it because I needed a job. But yeah, Cisco wasn't a bad company to work for. You worked hard for that $160,000 though. Tell everybody in the chat how many steps you had to go up with that two-wheeler, or how many steps you had to go down with that two-wheeler, man. That's no joke. That's tough work. Starting pay for me in trucking was 55 cents per mile on a 2-year contract for getting my CDL. Okay, how did you feel about that? Did you stay your 2 years, or are you still currently in your 2 years? 55 cents a mile to start, I'll be honest, doesn't sound too bad. I think you're worth more than that. But 55 cents per mile. It's not terrible. Starting pay $32 an hour. Yeah, man, plus your bonuses, that's good money. Kevin says Cisco is a good company, Teamsters Union. So that's kind of why I didn't stay with Teamsters. Stay with Cisco. I was in the Teamsters for 13 years, local 120. And it was, I started young and I kind of followed the old timers. So like I went through 3 contracts in, right? 4, 8, 12. Yes. So I went through 4 contracts. Maybe it was 3. I don't remember. And I kind of followed the old timers, the guys that were training me in. And we got paid really well. But I remember the first 2 contracts, a lot of the guys wanted more to be invested in our retirement instead of pay. But one thing I noticed about the union was it allowed lazy people to keep their jobs. It allowed people to take advantage of the system. And they had a very strong entity backing them, because the union I was part of at that time was very strong. There was other things I didn't like about it. At that time, I'm divorced. My first wife had very, very good health insurance. And the company had gotten rid of their health insurance and went to the union to provide all of us union guys and girls with health insurance. Well, the stipulation was if one person didn't sign up, nobody got it. So I was forced to get health insurance that cost me like $85 a week at the time that I didn't need. Like, I didn't need that health insurance. But if I didn't get it, nobody got it. And I was the only one that said, I don't need health insurance. Out of all the guys that worked at the company I worked at, I don't want to say the company name, but I was the only one that didn't need health insurance through the company, because my wife worked at a very good job and we had free health care essentially. But yeah, Teamsters, if you like union work, they're a strong union. You're flatbed, okay. Yeah, flatbed's tough work, man. Tough work. That's probably why your starting pay is 55 cents per mile. I've seen starting pay all the way down to like 40 cents, which I think is, I don't think that's fair. Punish and Protect said the railroad and trucking make the country. Without it, the country stands still. The railroad is actually getting way more involved in that aspect of logistics and trucking. I mean, just look at all the trailers now that are on the railroad. I do think trucking is going to change even more than it already has in the next 5 years. In the next 15 years, it's going to be way different. You know what I mean? It's just going to be different. But I do agree with that, by the way. Well, from a construction worker to a trucker, I respect honest folks like us. Good night, sir. Yeah, good night. Thanks for stopping by. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You really contributed to this live show, so I appreciate it. I'm so glad vacation time isn't such a big deal with my company. I just tell them a few weeks in advance if it's more than like 4 days. Well, that's good, man. That's good. I'm glad you experienced that. Union shop. Yeah, Cisco. Well, when I worked there, Cisco was paid weekly. Being that it's union, yeah, it's probably pay. Oh yeah, look at Love just said, yeah, we pay weekly. Hey man, Cisco. Any food distributor is gonna pay you well. You earn every cent of that because it's not easy work, but it's a good job, man. It's a good job, and it's gonna be there. You know what I mean? And less restaurants and fast food chains and list goes on and on of places that need food service truck drivers. You know what I mean? Unless all that goes away, you have a secure job. Cheap Red Holler says, thanks, babe. Been down today and thinking about hanging it up. Think I'll stick it out. Love the independence and not really wanting to ask for permission for days off or be in management or other drivers. Yeah, no, I used to manage other drivers. I've had multiple jobs in this industry outside of the truck. Like I always looked at it as like a stepping stone. You know what I mean? If a company takes you out of a truck and puts you in a management role or in the dispatch, like I looked at it as kind of leveling up in that company. I always found my way back to the truck. Couple of reasons. Somebody asked earlier about the isolation. I hated dealing with people. I hated it. I didn't, I remember this one company I worked at. You know what? Cheap Freight Holler, you asked me a question earlier. If this falls through, there was a company I worked for that I would go back to in a heartbeat. Absolutely go back there in a heartbeat. And they would hire me back in a second. They actually treated their employees really, really well. Non-union company too. But anyways, getting back to what I was saying, I used to have sales reps come in and bring me out to lunch and things like that because I managed the entire warehouse. So like I would have to buy things from these vendors, and they would come in and like bring me out to lunch or bring me out to dinner or bring me to a hockey game, and I was buying from them regardless. They were, they had the best price. I would buy from them regardless of them giving me anything or doing, trying to sell me. They had me just because they could get me the product as fast as I needed it. But I hated it. Like I didn't like dealing with the people. Did not like managing people. Did not like managing truck drivers. Did not I always found my way back to the truck, and part of that was because I liked the isolation of it. I don't have to deal with anybody. And if I do have to deal with somebody, it can be a very short interaction, and then I can move on. All what? I don't know what that acronym stands. Jerome Jones is in the house. Go to sleep, man. We're getting unloaded here in Jersey, Jerome Jones. How are you doing? I don't do railroad. I think if I had a railroad job, I would be set. That was Punish and Protect. That works in the railroad, and I happen to know him. He found my YouTube channel, and I actually went to high school with that dude back in the day. You just subbed? Hey, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Cheap Freight Holler saying, what up to Jerome? The animal is up. Man, the animal needs to sleep. That dude's always up. He says, when you get to know your shopper, you mean shippers and receivers, those people will treat you well. Yes, they will. They will. And the funny thing is, yes, you're right. They will work with you. That's one thing I've noticed. There's some freight that I haul out of Minnesota quite frequently, and there's times that I can't make the pickup on time, and all I have to do is email or call and get the appointment changed. You know what I mean? They're very, they work with you. You know what I mean? They're usually, when I show up there, the freight's already picked, ready to be loaded. You know what I mean? So yeah, Animal, I could not agree more with you on that comment. What is the bad side of this job? There are a lot of bad sides. Depending on what you do, a lot of trucking companies will mistreat their employees. I do believe that. Um, you have to be strong in like your stance on things. Um, you're gonna work weird hours. You will sacrifice time with your friends and family to do any type of driving job. Um, I know there's people in this chat maybe that have like the 9 to 5 trucking gig. I know that that's out there, but that's very few and far between. Um, so this is going to be a very demanding job for anybody. Um, a lot of this over my years of trucking, especially right now, safety is a big concern. And it's not so much you doing anything wrong, it's the other truck drivers that are out on the road. You know what I mean? Just tonight, I had a guy, or this morning, I was on 78. I'm in the middle lane because I'm light. This load's light. He we started climbing a hill. He has the whole right lane that he can go up, and he literally missed me. He swerved into my lane. Still don't know why. I'm probably on his phone. He missed me by inches. And the minute he started coming over, I looked and I had 2 cars on my left-hand side coming. So I had no out. Let me think of some other downsides of this industry. Well, like I said earlier, you might get to places that won't let you use a restroom. You know what I mean? Now, I'm an outdoors guy. I like to fish. I like to camp. I used to hunt. So, like, if nature calls and there's no restroom, you make a restroom. Put it that way. You have to. There are downsides about this, but like I said earlier, man, a lot of it's mind frame. When you're operating and you own the equipment and you are trying to run a business, like there's so many headaches. There's things that happen that there's times you just throw your hands up and you're like, man, what the F am I gonna do? You know what I mean? I think another downside of this industry is appointment times. There used to be wiggle room. The animal said earlier, when you work with shippers and receivers directly, like this is where this comes into play. How many of us have seen signs, a half an hour late, you owe $500? You know what I mean? $300, or you're going to be a work-in and you have a late fee of $150. Well, you could leave 4 hours before your appointment and there could be an accident that shuts the highway down. These shippers and receivers don't care. When you're working with a customer, they care. Like, they care about you because you're hauling their freight. Like, they want you to be safe. They want you to get their freight there in a manageable time, but like they care about you. Yeah, there's downsides of this. Thanks for answering my question. No problem, man. No problem. Stay company and get a union hourly job. Yeah, there's nothing. Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with that, love. I was a company driver for 20 years. There is nothing wrong with being I hope I'm not coming across like being a company driver is a bad thing. I don't think being a company driver is a bad thing. I do think there's certain people that want to do something different. And that happened to be me. You know what I mean? And then once I saw the success that I have in what I'm doing now, like my mind changed to, okay, what can I use the money that I'm making in trucking? What can I do differently that generates me even more money? So you start thinking about other things that you can invest in and other businesses that you might want to start up. You know what I mean? I don't think everybody thinks that way, but I do think a majority of us do. We think that way. We think, how can we grow what we have? Do you buy a shop? Do you buy, a little terminal? You know what I mean? There's so many things that are different about being a company driver and being a business. I don't think one's better than the other. I think a lot of it just has to do with the person's mentality and what they want to achieve. Gene, what's going on, man? Morning, getting on my way to Chicago. Well, have fun driving through Chicago. Erica? Is that how you say your name? Erica? Have fun driving through Chicago. I drive through Chicago quite a bit. I make more than this dude net and have benefits. You don't think I have benefits? Like, I have all kinds of benefits. I have better benefits than the union ever gave me. Now, granted, I pay for them. Highly doubt that you net more than we make. I'm just saying. Not hating on you, but like that's the difference. If like this idea that you have any concept of my business and what I do is just not accurate. Now, I don't know what you do at Cisco. I have an idea because A, I worked at Cisco. B, I was a Teamster for 13 years. And I've been in this industry 26 years. Like, I know what your day-to-day kind of looks like. Doesn't mean I could do your job. I couldn't do your job working at Cisco hauling food. I wouldn't want to. It's very tough work. I commend you for that. That's not an easy job. But so, like, this idea that owner-operators don't have things is just false. Like, I have a better retirement than a pension can give me. I still get my pension through Central States just had to be bailed out. Like, my pension's worth hardly nothing. 13 years of my life down the drain. You know what I mean? That every time the contracts came up, that's what we fought for, was better pension pay. And we took less money up front to get better pension pay. Well, fast forward, 15, 20 years, that pension, due to the president and vice president of the local that I belong to, so it's not like the Teamsters' fault, but it is the president and vice president embezzling the money. It was gone. But yeah, this, I would not pretend to know everything about your job. I don't understand how you could even have a concept of my business. I don't get it. But I appreciate the comment. Jay says, stay-at-home moms are loose. She did it her while we at work. Well, I guess I don't understand what that means. Gene says, if you can afford to do it, it is so worth it to me. Kids end up doing better in life with a parent with them. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I think I skipped Jerome Jones. I did. CFH, it's early in the morning, just woke up from bad dream and weird noise in my hotel, decided to come in and see what's going on. Well, I appreciate it, Jerome. What are you doing in a hotel, man? Is your truck broke down? I haven't been on YouTube lately. I don't know what's going on with you. Or are you getting a new job? Nope, I don't need a dispatcher. I dispatch myself. She better have a job and be able to support herself. Otherwise, I don't need her in my life. Well, I think having a relationship, like I said, we made a decision for my wife to stay at home. My wife worked. I wanted my children to have a parent present at everything. You know, like I said, the way I grew up, my mom and dad did the very best they could for my brother and I. But you know what? They weren't at all of our hockey games. They weren't there when, we got home from school. Like I said, I was a latchkey kid. I know some of the decisions I made was because I did not have a parental supervision. You know what I mean? I wanted my children to have parental supervision. I wanted to have, like, somebody be there when my kids got off the bus. So my wife and I made a decision because I made enough money that she didn't need to work. Now, let me be clear about this too. I've talked about this on my channel. Like, I don't live outside of my means. You know what I mean? My mortgage is very affordable. The only thing I don't own outright and have the title to is my house. You know what I mean? The other properties I own, I have the titles for. The house I live in, I don't have the title for. But I don't live outside of my means. I don't live in debt. I don't believe in those things. Because there was a time I did live like that. And when 2008 hit, I got a very hard reality of what it means to live outside of your means. Safe travels, you too. Gene says, I will say something, LOL, take it from someone who worked there for 5 years. Get your year in at Prime and run fast. Stay away from Prime. Get home safe. Get that money wherever you drive safely. I appreciate that, Michael. Ricky's in the house. Narcissistic. I used to be like that. The rookie trucker, go to bed. I'm getting unloaded. I can't go to bed. I'll go to bed when I'm dead. Oh, thank you. Yeah, give me a thumbs up. Appreciate it. I respect your opinion, but I believe as long as a dispatcher is experienced and no language barrier, then it's okay. Yeah, and if you want to do that, you can. Like, once again, that's a great thing about being a business owner. I can operate the way I want to operate, and you can operate the way you want to operate. And you know what? Like, think of, how do I say this? Like, let's say you're from another country and you have contacts in that country that are dispatchers. It would make sense then to work with them. You know what I mean? Yeah, see, that makes sense. Like you just said, you have a brother here that's running trucking, or have a brother there, and I'm running a trucking or a dispatch office here in Pakistan. Appreciate it. Too cool. Australia. Put another shrimp on the Barbie. So without trucks, Australia stops. Yeah, man, I used to watch, what was that Australian truck driving show? Like Driving the Outback or something? Like, absolutely crazy trucking. Like, what they call them? Road trains? Or something? I used to watch this trucking show that was in Australia. And those guys, man, they got into some crap. I've done a lot of, like, off-road driving in semi-trucks, dirt stuff like that. I had never done anything like I watched those guys do on that TV show that used to be out. If I can't feel the sweet, I'm in Texas. I love Texas, man. I love Texas. We go to South Padre Island in the winter time. So we drive from Minnesota down into Texas. Here comes this guy again. I'm going to ask him for my $20. Hey, you got my $20? He thinks I'm being serious, I think. I feel bad for him. I'm just messing with him. I don't think he understands that I'm messing with him. Well, that sucks, Max. Trucking ruined his life and marriage. That sucks. Sorry to hear that. Slow says few showers when driving. Well, I hope you're not taking a shower when you're driving. Yeah, oh, I see some downsides of trucking. Yep, I agree with all those, Slow. I agree with all those. Friends and family, creeps at the truck stop. You know, I don't deal with many creeps at the truck stop. You know what I mean? But then again, like, I stay to myself. You know what I mean? I'm not the guy in the truck stop sitting at the diner trying to have conversations with you and hear how many miles you drive a year and this and that. Like, I don't. Usually because of the schedule I keep, if I park the truck, I'm gonna shower, eat, and go to bed. You know what I mean? I run a lot of split logs, so you know, sometimes it's 8 hours and I'm up back on the road, and you know, it's kind of how I do. Brush your teeth in your truck. Brush your teeth in your truck. Do not go into the bathroom at the truck stop and brush your teeth. All you got to do is, well, you could Google it. Like, yeah, it's disgusting. Don't brush your teeth in the truck stop. Brush your teeth in your truck with a bottle of water. Oh, my toothbrush and toothpaste is back there. Have yourself, you know, a little cup. I would use, where's my cup? I must have thrown it away. I use like an old coffee cup. You know what I mean? Brush your teeth in the truck. Do you know anyone who give box truck dispatch? I'm sorry, I don't. I don't know anybody. I don't work with a dispatch service. I work with direct shippers, and if I work on the spot market, I book all my own freight. Love it when drivers talk about development. It's good to see a driver planning on expanding the income streams. Well, that's all I ever do, man. You have to. And I happen to be in a position that affords me the opportunity of taking calculated risks. And if they don't work out, they don't work out. Plain and simple. You know what I mean? I don't want to work forever. I'm 44 years old. I wouldn't, you know, I'd like to retire in 10 years, you know, and as long as things keep going the way they are now, like, I said this on another live show the other day. Like, so many of us fall into the trap of listening to what we might hear on the radio, what we might hear on TV, what we surround ourselves with, what we watch on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, to where everybody looks at, like, take the economy, for example. Now, we see the prices of eggs, prices of milk now. Yeah, they're up, right? But it's hard for me to say this is the worst economy for a couple of reasons. I remember 2008. I remember losing everything. I remember how difficult it was for me to earn $1. I don't experience that today. And also, like, my investments, like in the stock market, my portfolio return this year is over 10.5%. Now imagine if I had millions of dollars in my portfolio, which I don't have millions of dollars in there, but just imagine that. And that you saw 10%, over a 10% return in a year. That's like us that got into this industry a few years ago during the pandemic and everything was $5 a mile, right? Now somebody that's saved money, been in the stock market for a long time, I know seeing a 10% return is not something that happens every single year. But the fact that it happens, man, like, that's money that's working for me with not, the only thing I did was purchase the stock. That's the only thing I did. And the amount of money that I've received in return is this year is it's fucking crazy, to be honest. It's nuts. Walking each other home. I'm getting unloaded right now. I was able to find a load. If you've been in here a while, sorry, this is like third time you've heard me say it. I delivered Sunday morning in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, and thought I was going to have to sit until Monday today. I happened to get on the load board and I found a load. There was no loads on the load board, and then I found this load on the load board a few hours later. Somebody had fallen off of it, and it picked up at 10 o'clock at night, Sunday night, delivered 6 in the morning, Monday morning today. I got here at 2 o'clock in the morning. They put me in a door right away, and they're unloading me. That's why I'm awake. Ireland. Holy cow. Good morning. I would love to go to Ireland. Love to go to Ireland. I've been over to Europe a few times in my life. Love it over there. I've been to Italy, Germany, Austria, Amsterdam, Sweden. Yeah, I love it over there, but never been to Ireland. That would be fun. Maybe that should be a trip the wife and I do. I like it, Big 14. I used to do it differently. I used to be out about 9 days and then go home for 3 days usually and then go back on the road. But like I said, I started looking at months that I stayed out longer, and I looked at my revenue at the end of the month versus my expenses and saw that the net profit was quite a bit different. It was noticeably different if I stayed out for 3 weeks at a time without having a break in there, because I run all recaps. I noticed a big difference in my net profit. So I made a decision that, hey, I'm going to run for like 3 weeks. Sometimes I'll run longer. Like if there's nothing going on, you know, I'll stay out. My wife goes on vacations, you know, and sometimes she'll be on vacation with family or something like that, and there's no need for me to get home, so I'll stay out an extra week or something like that, you know. Well, thanks for stopping by. Have a good day, by the way. May I know your name, by the way. My name is F8truckin. Check out my channel, watch some videos, and you'll figure out my name. I am in New Jersey. Where am I? Keesby, New Jersey. You're 44 years old and still... I don't know what that is. Working? Oh, yeah. I'm still working at 44. 44, you look like you're 28 or 27. Yeah, I wish I was still that age. Do you really consider yourself a truck driver in a plastic e-log truck? Check out by emissions, cameras, lane. I don't have... So, my cameras are my cameras that I put in for a business. I got hit, $32,000 of damage, because I had a camera that I installed in my truck. There was no arguing. You're at fault. I was parked. Cameras save you in court. As a business, you should always protect yourself from litigation, 100%. Emissions kind of suck. The 2 trucks that I've owned, I think I have spent about 5 to, well, turbo you can't consider emissions because every truck's got a turbo. I've spent about $7,000 in 4.5 years on emissions problems with trucks. Small, that's not terrible in my mind. Do I like emissions? No. No, I don't like emissions. Once again, I'm a business, so a plastic truck that gets good fuel economy. Absolutely. I got some friends that own hood trucks, Peterbilts. One guy is very open and honest with me. He's got one truck that he has a driver in that never shuts it off. That truck's at like 4.5 miles a gallon. He's at 6 miles a gallon in his truck, and he's been driving forever, knows what he's doing. He's at 6 miles a gallon. I'm at 9, 10. I'll average 8. I'm in business to make money. Fuel economy is my biggest expense as a business owner, unless I have a catastrophic breakdown and need a new engine. My biggest expense is fuel. So I'm in control of that. I said that earlier. Like, I believe business is about controlling your controllables. There's certain things that I'm not in control of in business. There are a lot of things, though, that I am in control of that actually affect the bottom line. So, yeah, I'm a truck driver. I learned how to drive a truck when I was 18 years old, you know. There's lots of money in trucking. I don't understand what you mean by that. There's lots of money in trucking. You delivered to Little Caesars. Oh. You know what? I got a buddy that works for a company that delivers to Domino's Pizzas. Domino's, and there's another place he delivers to. There's another chain that Domino's owns. I don't think it's pizza though. But that's all he does. He delivers to Domino's Pizzas. I don't really talk to him anymore. He's an old friend of mine. But yeah, there's lots of money in trucking. I don't understand. Like, for me, I don't know where else I could go and make the money that I make in trucking. I can't think of anywhere that I could go with like no college degree. You know what I mean? And make the money I make. I know that I make more money than a lot of my friends that actually have degrees and are professionals, you know, the white collar worker. You know, I make more money than they do, you know. Wheel burners in the house. Good morning. How's it going, sir? You Canadian, you. The money is out there if you're willing to put in the effort and time to get it. I love money. So do I, man. So do I. You know what I love? It's not that I love money. I love to figure out how to make money work for me. So I don't have to go out and make it anymore. It just shows up. You know what I mean? That's what I like. You know, I get a lot of crap for like not driving 100,000 miles a year, right? Not putting on 4,000 miles a week and stuff like that, 3,000 miles a week. Like, I run as efficient as possible. Like I said, I took this load that I didn't even expect to get. Like, I got lucky to find this load. I think I have like 130 miles in on it. I got paid $750 for it. Picked up at 10 o'clock. It's being unloaded right now at 4:30 in the morning. And it puts me in a great freight market here in New Jersey. So come 7 o'clock this morning, I'll have all kinds of loads to choose from. I have enough time before I pick up my customer load to make more money today. You know what I mean? Get loaded today and unloaded today. You know, I look at that as, yeah, like I said, I don't think there's anything else I could do that generates me the income that I make. And that might sound like, I don't want to be this egotistical person, but like, I live in a position of power. You know what I mean? Like, I don't worry about anything. If I want something, I get it. if I choose not to, because I want to invest. I want to invest in my well, I want to invest in my kids' future. It's not even about me. Like, I want my kids, like I said earlier, my mom and dad did the very, very best that my mom and dad could do for me. And I had a great life growing up. I played hockey, I traveled, like I had a great childhood. But like my parents, I don't know how to say it. Like I want to give I like if I was to die today, I want my kids to be a millionaire. You know what I mean? The reality is if I die, they are. I don't want to die, but like I want to set something up that just, if my kids need something, I can just give it to them. You know what I mean? Help them get it, not just give it to them, help them get it. You know what I mean? I want to be in the position like that. You know what I mean? And I am today, It took years. Like I said, back in 2008, I have no shame. I've said it on my channel 100 times, man. I went bankrupt. I learned a lot about life back then. I learned a lot about the value of what a dollar actually is. And if I can turn that dollar into $1.50, and then that $1.50 into $3, and not owe anybody anything, and have a credit score that if I chose to, I could walk in and get anything I wanted, which I don't do. I understand that puts you in such a different position. It puts you in a position of power. It puts you in a position of not worrying about the car breaking down. You know what I mean? Way different than I used to live. How much fuel do I spend Monday through Friday on average? That's 2 fuel ups, depending on where I get my fuel with my fuel discounts. $1,100. Rates are low for an owner operator. Okay. I fully disagree with you on that, for one. Rates are low if you're only running the spot market. I don't run any freight that's under $3 a mile. If you think $3 a mile is low, that tells me a lot about how you operate your business. And I'm not trying to be rude to you. Like $3 a mile on a low end. I just told you what I'm doing right now. I'm making $750 in, what is that, 6 hours, and I drove 120 miles to get it. That's efficient, right? It also sets me up to drive. If I drive 200 miles today from where I currently am, it's going to be anywhere from, it'll probably be $5 a mile, $6 a mile in this area of where I am. That to me is not a little sum of money, because I disappeared. I have low operating costs. You know what I mean? So, I make over, if I run something for $3 a mile, my operating costs aren't $1.50. You know what I mean? And that includes all my benefits that I pay myself. I have disability insurance. I have health insurance. I have life insurance. You know what I mean? I have better benefits than I did when I was a company driver. The only difference is I had to go out and get them. I had to go out and research what I needed for me and my family. And then there's nobody that is contributing to that premium. I'm paying that premium 100%. You know what I mean? which in reality, the last job I had, my health insurance cost me, man, I don't even remember. I probably pay like $125 more a month than I did when I was a company driver. And I have better insurance. Like, I was paying more out of my pocket for shittier health insurance than I was able to go out and get myself. So I would take my insurance over what my old company's insurance offered me and just pay for it myself. What type of loads do you haul? Power only, reefer, dry van? What is the average rate per mile in gross nowadays? Market seems like very slow last month. That's why I'm asking. So last month was August. August was one of my best months in the last 4.5 years. Think about where we went 4.5 years ago, right? Like, last month was one of my best months yeah, it's probably up there in like the top 2 or 3 months that I've had since I became an owner operator 4.5 years ago. It all depends on what you're hauling. I own all my equipment, truck, reefer, trailer. I haul reefer freight. I might haul a dry load every now and then, very seldom. A lot of times I'm running all reefer freight. But I don't work off the spot market. I book a load off the spot market like today. When I got done doing a load that paid me very, very well, paid me $5 a mile to go from Cincinnati, Ohio to Pennsylvania, I was sitting doing nothing and found a load that was going to pay me $750 to go 86 miles. Now, I did have a deadhead to get there, but the load I got for $750 on 86 loaded miles, and I still can go work the spot market today until my customer freight. I really believe the reason I don't feel the struggle as much as some people is the connections I have. I've made very good connections and have very good business relationships with other trucking companies that work out of the same state that I live in, that have so much freight and not enough drivers and not enough trucks that they will give me that freight. You know what I mean? And I work with customers, and it eliminates the ups and downs of the spot market. Now, there might be times that the spot market, that load might pay more than I'm running it on a contract, but I know that my contract, unless they just tear it up, which can happen, I'm not going to see the rate cut as dramatically as the spot market does. Yes, definitely a reefer at 4 a.m. Want a guest? I would love one, the Rookie Trucker. I don't know how to send a link after I, oh, it's hitting that. It's hitting my bodega. The animal says his operation produced its own fuel. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Brother, if you can, please make a video how to get a load from a customer. The most important thing to consider. Well, I can just tell you right now. Or not tell you, but getting a customer isn't always easy. It takes, you know what, I'll say this. It might not be the first thing I would do, because it might not be a customer load at the beginning, is work with the same people over and over again. Whether that's a broker or a 3PL company, work with them over and over again. Let them get to know you and pick their brain on what they have to offer, right? Like say you live in, well, just use me. Say you live in the metropolitan area of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and you find a broker that's in that area, that has a load that loads out of Minneapolis and delivers to Chicago, and you book it one time, communicate very well with that broker. 2, after you're done, send the broker a picture of the signed BOLs. Say, hey, it was nice working with you. How often do you have these loads? Communicate with them, talk to them, ask questions. They're salesmen. Don't get it twisted. All a broker is a salesman. Be a salesman as well. Like, sell yourself. Then when it comes to a customer, just like I said, reach out to them. Find something in your area. Like, I know customers where I live that ship refrigerated freight. Some are 3PL companies. A customer can be a 3PL company. You know what I mean? There's lots of 3PL companies out there. That can be a customer. Think of big grocery warehouses. They might have their own, logistics department. Reach out to them. That's all, all this is selling yourself. Do what you say you're going to do and then follow up. It's not freaking rocket science. It's super simple. You know what I mean? I think so many people don't sell themselves, or they sell themselves short. You know what I mean? Or they don't want to do the kissing butt, right? I'm not ashamed to say it. A lot of the work I do is because I kissed their ass. You know what I mean? And they liked it. So, but now I look at the relationships that I've developed, and I have a customer on the East Coast that I've been, not just me, the carrier too. Let me be very clear about this. The carrier that I chose to lease onto instead of getting my own authority was for this reason. The carrier was established and has access to freight that I couldn't get if I had just gotten my authority when I decided to become an owner operator. They never would have worked with me. I chose to lease on to a carrier that this guy is very active in building his business, right? So let's say he signs a contract for his carrier. I'm notified about it. Then I will call that customer and say, hi, my name's so-and-so. I work for this company. We have a contract for you. I'd like to start hauling some of your freight. Oh, great. What's your email address? I'll send you our load list. Let us know what you can do. I'm not ashamed to admit either. I signed a contract with Coyote back in the day. Literally running 10 minutes, 5 or 6 miles away from my house was the shipper, and it went to Chicago. I made enough money on that load that I could deadhead the 425 miles back to Minnesota and still be making $265 a mile on all miles. Be there the next afternoon to get reloaded and deliver the next morning. I did that for, how long did I do that? I did that for a few months. And then it didn't dry up. I wanted to come back out to the East Coast because at that time, the carrier that I'm leased onto asked me if I'd help them, and I did. I can see you there. Hello from Iran. Mohammed MD, the doctor. Are you the doctor of trucking? Mister, do you pay your own insurance or does the carrier pay? So I pay bobtail insurance. I do not pay cargo insurance. The carrier pays that. That's all stuff that people getting into the industry or people that want to be owner operators, that's things to look at, right? Now, being leased on to a carrier like me, that I own the equipment, it's a 90-10 split. What that means is I keep 90% of whatever the truck generates, the carrier is paid 10%, right? Now, that handles like everything I just said, the cargo insurance, the ELD. I don't have any fees that are attached to that except the 10%, which is really nice, to be honest. I got pretty lucky. So yeah, I don't pay. The only thing I pay is bobtail insurance, and then I upped, so I have full replacement value on my equipment, all my equipment. What does that mean? Well, there are some insurance companies, let's say you have physical damage, right? Think of car insurance. You have full coverage on your car. Well, if that car gets totaled, they give you an estimate of what the value of that car is worth, right? Like the Blue Book value, or what cars in an area are selling for. That's what you get. You know, if you have a loan, hopefully it's insured enough to pay the loan off. Well, you can pay extra, like for the company that I have, to get full replacement value. So whatever I estimate the value of the truck at, if I pay, I think it costs me an extra $4 a month. When I bought this truck, I bought this truck at the height of the market, right? So I paid $70,000 for this truck. Trucks that were similar to it were going for $90,000. So my insurance full replacement value on this truck is $90,000. That's why the $32,000 of damage that's on my truck, that's why they didn't total it out. That's why they cut me a check for $32,000 instead of $90,000. Well, good morning. $4 a.m. is worth it. Yeah. Don't look around. I'm very, like I said earlier, like I'm a very like positive person when it comes to trucking. I know what trucking has given me. I'm actually, like, at times I get very passionate about it, because this idea that anybody knows anything about somebody else's business, or because they've heard, like I said earlier, like, we're the type of people that if we hear, oh, the freight market's bad, and that's what we're watching on YouTube, that's what we think. There's people that are freaking killing it out here. Trust me on that. Like, there are people that are killing it out here right now. I know people that are, I'm doing very well. I know people, I'm friends with people that are leased onto the same carrier I'm leased onto, that are doing as well as I am, if not better. You know what I mean? Yeah, thanks, Punish. Whatever, they can do that. Make sure you hit the thumbs up if you want to come in here and spam it. That's cool. I'm not gonna block you. I ain't got time for it. You can just bounce. Junior's in PA. That's great news, buddy. Keep killing it. Yeah, trying, man. No, I have to do my books. My books are on me. My taxes, all that's on me. And that's really, you know what, mister? I just see mister, so I'm assuming that's what it is. That's not that difficult to do. You know, bookkeeping, if you get out of hand with it, like if you don't do it for 6 months, then it gets a little out of hand. If you stay up on it, it's not very difficult. I only do it once a month. I do a profit and loss statement once a month. And like, here, I can kind of show you that. So there's two things I'll show you. Here's one box, right? This box, this is all the receipts so far for the month of September, right? But I also have receipts right here, right? That are right in my center console. These receipts are for this week. So what I do is at the end, I keep a journal. right, of every load that I do and how many miles it is, what I spent in fuel for the week, just on a piece of paper so I can look back at stuff, you know, like if I book a load off the spot market, that's something I do on the spot market. I really only work with the same brokers that I've worked with before on the spot market. That's part of knowing your lane too. Like I know at 7:15 this morning what broker I'm going to call. There's two brokers I'm going to call out here in New Jersey. Well, that have this territory. They're not in New Jersey, but they work in this area. This is their logistics area. I'm going to call them right away as soon as I'm unloaded here at 7 in the morning. But yeah, doing your books isn't tough, man. It's not tough. Congratulations, Junior. Congratulations. I drive, so this truck, my first truck was a 2015 Mack CXU 613. This truck is a 2019 International LT. I am not hiring right now. I am not hiring right now. You're at Swift? Hey, man. I'm sure there's lots of good drivers. I mean, you know, everybody makes fun of Swift. Everybody makes fun of Prime. It's because there's so many trucks on the road, right? Like, I think if you went and looked at the CSA score of those two companies, you'd be shocked at how, like, high they are. You know what I mean? We just see, you know, the bonehead trucker videos or the epic trucking fail videos where they're damaging something in a parking lot. But that's because there's so many of them. You know what I mean? Oh, that guy's reefer is throwing an alarm. Can you clarify, please? The bigger the carrier enters into a contract with customers, and when you call this carrier and say them that you can work at that lane, how do they know, sir, when they made the contract? Let me reread this. Can you please clarify? The bigger carrier enters into a contract with a customer. Okay, so look at the carrier that I'm leased onto, right? The carrier gets customers, right? You know, the carrier can go out and get customers. The carrier can call, let's just use an example. The carrier could call Walmart, let's say, you know, and think of like Warner, right? The carrier can call Walmart and say, we have X amount of trucks, because things get sent out every year, or not every year, like every quarter for rebidding lanes. You have access to those things. And the carrier can sign a contract and say this customer wants 100 loads a year moved, right? It's going to require X amount of trucks. That carrier can put company drivers, can put contractors like me on it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, the carrier, say I haul a load for somebody and they like this has happened. This has happened not just with me, another guy that's leased on here, and they don't want to use the spot market. They don't want a broker. They see our equipment, we drive nice equipment, we show up with our trailers nice and clean, and we've hauled a couple of loads for them. And they're like, hey, who are you guys? Oh, we're so-and-so. Reach out to the owner of the company. They'll reach out to the owner of the company. The owner will talk to who's ever hauling the load saying, hey, what's this load like? Hey, it's really easy. It runs to the market that we go to, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they want me to bid this lane. What would you need to run this lane? They bid it. We get the contract. We're running it. Now, it might just be two of us that are running that contract for that customer, and the carrier lets them know, hey, there's two guys that are going to be running for you. If their trucks break down, though, we have 10 other trucks that we can get over to you. You know, I hope I'm making sense on that. Thoughts on Pepsi Lime? Never had Pepsi Lime. I'm drinking. Excuse me. I'm drinking Pepsi. I don't know. Can I get in trouble for showing this? Pepsi Zero Cherry. Wild cherry, zero sugar Pepsi. Never had Pepsi Lime. Mister says, would you be against buying a brand new truck after your 2019 because you get a bigger depreciation on your taxes? You're also paying more in taxes, actually. What do they call that? The first time buyer's tax? No, I would not be against buying a new truck. It would have to make sense for me. What do I mean by that? I'm not going to get into something that has a $5,000 a month truck payment. Just not going to do it. So that would mean, let's say I'm buying a new truck that's, $140,000, $150,000. I'm going to put down a substantial amount of money so I don't have that $5,000 a month truck payment. I just don't agree with that. The other thing is I don't buy anything really brand new. You know what I mean? I've always kind of bought used vehicles, slightly used vehicles. I bought this truck with 300,000 miles on it. I'm not against buying a new truck. It's just got to make sense. Like, it's just got to make sense for me. What I really want to buy is my W900, and especially with fuel prices being what they are now, with my fuel discounts, very, very cheap. I could handle getting six miles a gallon. I'm not getting that many miles for a new truck. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, I'm not putting a lot of miles on this truck? I don't need to run a lot of miles, even if I had a new truck. I just told you what I would do. There's no reason to, like, when you're a business, there's no reason to run yourself ragged. There's just not. You're not going to, like, especially if you, like I said earlier, I run a lot of multi-stop loads. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 stops. I'm talking anywhere from 7 to 12 stops. You know what I mean? I run a lot of like LTL freight. I run a lot of multi pickups, a lot of multi drops, to the point where I might be buying a new trailer pretty soon, but I want a dual zone trailer. I want E-Track in it, and I'm going to have multiple bulkheads, probably buy a pallet jack, and like I'm really thinking about it. That way I could haul frozen, dry, and fresh all in one trailer. Because right now, there's a customer I'm working with that I am hauling frozen and fresh in the same trailer. We've worked it out where I'll run the trailer at a certain temperature, and then we wrap all the fresh stuff. So it's not going to freeze. It will get cold, but it's not going to freeze. And I've started thinking, man, it would be easier if I had a dual temperature trailer with a couple of bulkheads. And I got a connection. I met a guy. We run the same lane. We deliver at the same places every week. And the first time I saw him, I commented he had a $260,000 trailer. I mean, this trailer is freaking insane. And his truck, I think he told me his truck was like $175,000. Super nice, long nose Pete, all chromed out. I mean, stainless steel spread axle, freaking dual temperature trailer. This guy had a awesome setup. And I remember the first time we were parked next to each other in a loading dock, and I just started talking to him. Well, now we see each other every week, and he's like, hey, man, he's like, you run this lane all the time. He's like, he gave me the name of a connection, and I haven't called it, but I know if I did, like, based on what this guy told me, he's like, man, we need contractors to haul this freight. And I was like, all right, maybe I'll do it. But like I said, I would need a new trailer. Yes, my truck is automatic. I think for what I do, I'm glad I don't have to shift trucks anymore. Now, if I ran local or was just running like Minnesota to Chicago, I'd want a 13 speed again. I do miss that. Trucks have just changed so much since, like I said, I started driving truck when I was 18. I'm 44 years old. Like, trucks have changed dramatically. But like I said before, I can't shift the truck as well as a computer can. It's going to shift it at the precise settings that the engineers, who are much smarter than me, designed, right? That's not to say it's not going to have some problems, but overall, I know that this truck shifts at the points it's supposed to versus me maybe running the RPMs up a little higher or having them drop down a little bit more. I do miss driving a manual truck. But then, like, when I'm here in New Jersey or in Jersey City or parts of Delaware, I'm glad I'm not hammering through the gears like I used to. Mr. says, I want to buy a new truck with my wife and run team super single. Oh, yeah. Because if it breaks down, then we're both out of work. So I don't think a new truck is better for a team, but for solo, used is good. Listen, you're going to put on, if you're running a team, like a legit team, even if you're running a super single, you're going to put on, you should be putting on, I'm not going to say double, but very close to double the miles that I do. So I could see why getting a new truck, having a full warranty for, 300,000 miles, 400,000 miles, and then getting rid of that truck and getting a new one, because you're gonna get those miles in 2.5 years probably. You know what I mean? Somebody like me to put on 400,000 miles, I mean, it'd probably take me 4.5 years to do that. I don't run over 100,000 miles usually. I just don't. No way I'm shifting all day delivering local on I-70. I'd rather be a bum, LOL, or laugh out loud, whatever it was. Laughing my butt off. I'm getting tired now. Man, they're done unloading me. Why can't they just bring me my paperwork? Tired. Maybe I go to sleep. I drove an 18-speed manual for over 30 years. Now I have a 12-speed automatic transmission. I love it. Yeah, I do miss it. And I like the old work I used to do. I would want a manual transmission. If I was doing dirt work and stuff like that again and driving through the places I drove through, like, I knew how not to get stuck. And if I got stuck, I knew how to rock the truck. I knew how to work the clutch. I couldn't imagine driving this truck off-road. Like, I don't know what I would do. Turn off the traction control, lock everything in. Like, there's so many buttons on this damn thing. I wouldn't know where to begin. I haul coal from mines up and down the canyons. Holy crap. 128,000-pound minimum on runaway ramps. Automatics will slug down to 15 miles per hour in some parts. Automatics can't see ahead, then it hurts for correct gear, or then it hunts for correct gear. I could see that, and that, like I just said, if I was doing that style of work again, I didn't run coal, but I ran heavy haul. I wouldn't do it in an automatic. Now I will say, this is I'm gonna get ripped on this, but it's the truth. The reason I chose this truck over a Cascadia is the Cummins motor. Like, even when I'm loaded, I can climb hills. I'm not at 1600 RPMs, burning through the RPMs. Like, I'm this setup is perfect for what I do on these styles of hills running out to the East Coast. You know, that's the difference about the East Coast, right? You get out into the Rockies. When I worked out in Denver, yeah, you're going up the mountain, but then you're going down it. When you're out here on the East Coast, it's constant up, down, left, right. Like, you seem like you don't get out of these little mountain ranges for hours. You know what I mean? But yeah, this X15 is geared exactly, or set up exactly right for what I do. And the truck's geared perfectly for what I do. But I do agree with you, official. If I was hauling 128,000 pounds on mine roads, yeah, I wouldn't want to do it in this. Luke says, I run 3,400 miles a week in a day cab. Damn it, boy, that's a lot of miles in a day cab. More miles than I want to run. Wheelburner says, no human being can shift a truck as efficiently as a computer. Bottom line, over the years worth driving, that's a lot of fuel savings. It is. But I still, like I said, I do miss it. I do miss it. I don't miss it driving through rush hour traffic in Chicago or Indianapolis or something like that. You know. But once again, that comes down to business and controlling the controllables, Wheelburner. You're the same way as me, you know. You want to run as efficient as possible. That's the name of this game. It's always been the name of the game. It always has. People just ignore it, you know. People get stuck in their ways. You know, I get it. I'm stuck in my ways in many things, you know. You don't miss it at all, man? I do. Yeah, I like Cummins motors. I like them. How many miles do I run a week? Not many. Depends on, well, it depends on what customer load I'm taking. I'll run, you know, sometimes I'm at 2,200. Last week I ran 1,750. Just depends on what customer load I'm taking. Yeah, it's official. I get it, man. I get it. You're in the LTL business too, huh, Luke? Oh, man. I'm getting tired. Support myself here. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to ask for money. I don't need money. If you want to give me money, cool. Otherwise, don't give me money. But I would appreciate it if you support the channel by subscribing to the channel and hitting the thumbs up on this video. I forget to do that self-promotion type stuff. I should get back into making some videos and talking about stuff. You know, I took a break from YouTube for a little bit, and once you take a break, it's hard to get back into the rhythm of making the videos, because it does take time, man, editing and all that. But I do enjoy making videos. I would like to make videos that discuss more about, like, trying to help or teach, but YouTube doesn't like that. People don't want to be taught. You know, that's the reality. people don't want to be told they're doing something wrong. You know, that's the great thing about me is I have some very good mentors in my life that even after 26 years in this industry, I don't know everything. I'm able to listen and respect and learn from people that say, hey, you might be doing this the wrong way. Why don't you try it this way? You know what I mean? I'm thankful for the people that have helped me get to where I am. No, she doesn't mind it at all. Um, I think, I take that back. She doesn't mind it. She's used to it now. You know what I mean? But like I said earlier about the decision we made for her to be a stay-at-home mom, like me deciding to purchase equipment, become an owner-operator was kind of a family, like, decision. I sat down and talked to my wife, talked to my mom and dad. I talked to my kids, like, hey, like, I feel like I'm at a point in my career in trucking where I either get out of it altogether or I try this. And it's something I've wanted to do since I was 19, 20 years old. And I said, I'm in a position now where I'm able to do it. I have money. If I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. You know what I mean? So I kind of do look at this as kind of my last chapter in trucking. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to end. Like, it's a long chapter. Like I said, I'll probably be doing this another 10 years. But I know that this is how, barring some unforeseen thing happening, this is how I want to end my career. And my wife supports me in that. So she doesn't mind. We miss each other. You know, I don't want to get too, like, sappy on here. I mean, you miss your partner. You know what I mean? You miss your wife. You miss your husband. You miss whoever you're with. You know what I mean? But it also makes it that much more fun when you are home. You know? Yeah. I don't know if that answers your question. And you kind of live a little separate lives. Like I said, my wife goes on vacation. You know, she'll go on vacation with friends and family. And then we all go on vacation together. Or her and I will go on vacation. You know, like, it's almost like you live a separate life. You know, I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Like, we're out here, they're out there, you know, and, you know, you meet in the middle when you can meet in the middle, you know. Get some sleep. Yeah, I should. Yeah, Scott, but when your Cummins and my Detroit both get to the top of that hill, I have 5 more gallons of fuel than you do. It's not the guy that goes to the top of the hill the fastest that wins. Oh, believe me, I know that too. There are times, though, where I cannot sit behind that Cascadia puttering up the hill. And the reality is it's really only 3 companies that I deal with at that. No, I know that, wheel burner. I know that, too. Here's the other thing. This wheel burner, you bring up a good point. I sacrificed fuel economy by buying this truck the way I wanted it, right? Like, there's other owner operators that are leased on to the carrier that I'm leased on to that drive Cascadias. They get better fuel economy than me, you know, by about a gallon. That's a lot, you know. And one guy put on super singles. He's done a lot of different things to get the most fuel economy he can out of his truck. And you know what? I talk to him like every other day, and he's freaking killing it. But that was a sacrifice I made. I chose not to get a Cascadia for a couple of reasons. I couldn't find one that had the parameters I wanted. One of the biggest parameters that I looked for when I was purchasing a truck was something around 250,000 to 300,000 miles with low engine hours, right? I didn't want something that had, 14,000 engine hours and had 300,000 miles on the truck. That means they never shut the damn thing off. So I found that in this truck, and I knew that I was going to sacrifice the fuel economy. But I also, where I live, I have multiple shops that I can bring this truck to, including Freightliner, that can work on the motor if I need anything done on the motor. Computer system, I'd have to go to International, but Cummins can be worked on almost at any shop, and that's why I chose it. Tom says, wow, that's a lot. I want to get into the trucking business bad, but I have a health issue that needs me to, but I have health issues that needs me to smoke cannabis. Does anyone know how I can get into trucking without getting tested? No, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't think there's any company that would allow that. But they'll allow you to sit at home and drink beer all night and 8 hours later get behind a wheel of a truck. I don't understand that either. Try and learn something new every day, man. I do. Thanks for getting you across Indiana. No problem, Animal. You shutting down to get some rest? Or are you super trucking it? I know you, and I know you're able to super truck it. You're the guy sitting at Denny's saying, yeah, I left Utah yesterday at 12:30 in the morning, and 10 hours later, here I am in Joliet, Illinois. I'm sorry, Animal. How long you been married? 10 years. We've been together 14. Right? Yeah. What would be cool is how to train is set up. Generator running 24/7 that makes the truck run on electric. Well, they have electric trucks. I don't know much about them. Not in the price range for me. Good morning, Reed. Yeah, just quit smoking. Some people can't, man. I get it. I don't judge. I just, there's things I can't partake in my life because of what I've chose to do for a living. But like I said earlier, I'm a very libertarian human being. If they can tax the hell out of, drugs, meaning alcohol and tobacco, and society is okay with that, and those two things kill more people than anything, and we're okay with it, and it's socially acceptable. People that smoke pot, I used to when I was a kid, like, I would chill, watch movies, hang out, laugh, have a good time. I definitely was like a violent drinker, fighting and yelling, and I was mean, back in the day. I don't judge people, and I kind of think, I don't know. I don't think smoking pot's necessarily a bad thing. As long as you, just like anything in life, do stuff in moderation and don't screw up your life and don't screw up kids' lives. C Camp Bell, did I say that right? Probably not. Financing an issue, finding it on the cusp to get my own. Have working capital
Branching to owner operator, truck trailer used, fully warranty, $160,000 or $170,000, 3 years left. Best way forward. Oh, is that who you're leased on to? Best way? Or what's your best way forward? Let me see that. So financing is an issue. Okay. That, you know what? A lot of people are in that position where financing is an issue. I think truck and trailer for $700 or $170,000, 3 years left. So, I'm sorry, man. It's not making sense to me. Did you finance that? You know, here's the thing. I don't really know what you're getting at. And maybe it's because I'm illiterate and can't read that right and I'm exhausted. There are companies that are small, that aren't the big mega carriers, that do like sales of trucks. It's kind of like a lease purchase, but you're not, you're buying a truck from an individual. I just did that for a guy. I sold my truck, quote, quote, as a lease purchase to a guy. But it was a sale. It was, hey, I want X amount of dollars for this truck. You have this long to pay it off. This is the deal. There's no balloon payments. There's no like keeping for maintenance. You are buying this truck from a private seller. It is your responsibility. You know what I mean? And he did it. And it worked out great for him. And he ended up paying off the truck, trading it in for a better truck. There's ways to get into vehicles and trucks other than going the traditional like lease purchase through a big company that sets parameters. If you're a business, how can you work for somebody that, if you're an independent contractor, which is what I am, how can I have parameters on how much I'm able to make? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, oh, I can only make this much? Like, no, man. Supply and demand. I can make as much as somebody's willing to pay me. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. I don't understand how people take on such a big responsibility in a brand new truck and be told you can only make X amount of dollars. And you have to run this many miles to afford this truck. What? Like, I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. But everybody has to start somewhere, and I understand that too. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Yeah, Mr. F thought about it. Like I said earlier, I'm trying to find ways to invest my money in other things. Here's the thing. I know trucking better than I know anything else, right? I'm confident in this industry. I think it would be hard. I want to. I just know that hiring a driver is expensive. I live in Minnesota, so if I'm not 1099ing or giving you a 1099, which if you're a company driver of mine, I wouldn't do that. You would have to be a W-2 employee, which requires me to carry workman's comp insurance and stuff like that, which is expensive. I could afford it. Problem is, I don't want to micromanage somebody. So like, I would want to find somebody like me to drive my equipment, right? I don't think I could afford me. Does that make sense? I've thought about it. I know what I can afford to pay a driver. I just don't know if that would get me the type of driver I want. Hopefully I answered your question. OG's in the house says, it's not bad, but if you're worried about having to quit smoking, trust me, trucking ain't for you. I agree with that. That's one of the least brutal sacrifices you'll make. Wow, that's actually a good comment. Oh, gee, that's a good comment. The animal heading to Chicagoland, then Wisconsin. Yeah, I know. I probably know where you're going. 164,000 miles. Three years. Oh, that's a low mileage truck, man. That's a low mileage truck. Let me go back to that comment. Fully warranted. 170,000 miles. Three left. Best way forward. Man, you know, I'm the wrong person to ask this. Wrong person to ask that. That's a low mileage truck. If it's got full warranty for 3 more years, if you run it normal, like if you base your business on 10,000 miles a month a year, right? Or a month, sorry, 10,000 miles a month, that means you're going to run 120,000 miles a year. So if it's got 160 on it, somebody do the math real quick. After 3 years, how many miles are going to be on that truck? That's 360,000 miles in 3 years, plus the 160 that are on there. So that'd be 500,000 mile truck. I personally think that these trucks nowadays are designed to get like 700,000 miles, right? Before you're required to do major things to them. It's not the old school trucks like the Cats and, you know, the old M14s and Series 60s, right? Like, I think these trucks' life is between 500,000 and 700,000 miles. That's my personal opinion. I'm probably wrong, but that's the way I look at things. So, like, for me, when my loan's complete on my truck, this truck will have 525,000 miles because I'm at 475,000 now. So when I'm done with this truck at the end of next year, let's just say I put on 150,000 more miles. Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, maybe a little bit more than that, but I'll probably end up getting maybe one more year out of this truck, and then I'm going to get a new one. Or I might get a new one right away. I haven't decided yet. And when I say new, I'm not talking about brand new. I'm just talking about maybe some sort of upgrade. I will say this. I've learned some valuable lessons in business on purchasing equipment. I will not purchase anything ever again in business that is not exactly what I want. I will hold off. The next trailer I'm buying is going to have everything I want in it. The next truck I'm buying is going to have everything I want on it and in it. Bottom line. I will not say, oh, it doesn't have an APU. Oh, that's fine. I'll just go buy one. Well, 2 years later or whatever, I haven't put an APU on this truck. I sit here and run around with my portable AC unit with a generator on the back of my truck, so I don't idle. I've learned moving forward, buy what you want. Max One's in the house saying hi. What's up, Max? Oh, okay, I get it. They want to sell you the truck for $130,000 for 3 years. Full warranty. The only thing I'm going to ask you is I don't know how to say it. C. Campbell's 510 or K. Campbell's? C. Campbell's. K. Campbell's, is, are you limited in what you can do? Are you limited in the amount of money you can make? Does that make sense? Am I saying that the right way? Because $130,000 for a truck with 168,000 miles on it with a full warranty, it's a lot of money. Okay? It's a lot of money. But I don't necessarily think it's a bad deal, if that makes sense. I don't think it's a bad deal. As long as you have the opportunity to... What happens if you choose you don't like it? Are you able to take that truck somewhere else? Or are you stuck where you're at with it? Because I think if you're paying for a truck, you should be able to take the truck anywhere. They're financing you, right? But I understand that's not how business works. That's a lot of money to invest, not to be able to leave if you're unhappy, right? But I also don't think it's a bad deal on the truck. It's expensive, but it's not a bad deal on the truck. Have to make it myself or lease on. Man, I'm the wrong guy to ask. I'm sorry. I said everything I could say. I don't, there's some stuff, how do I say this? Like, only you know. If you're working there already and you know what they're doing and you know there's other, leased on contractors, lease purchase guys there, go talk to them and ask them to show you information. The guys that aren't willing to show you information, like legit paperwork, legit settlements, they're lying. Okay? Like, I will show anybody my settlement that runs into me and asks me how, if they're interested in stuff. I've done it. I've done it to Prime drivers. I've done it to Swift drivers, that are talking about their story. And I'll just be like, man, like, I think there's a better way. Look at what I do. And, let them make the decision. So I would recommend talking to people. I don't think I would spend $130,000 on a truck, but I also don't think it's a bad deal. They aren't, it's me. Dude, it's not excuses, it's real life. It's real life, bro. How often do a lot lizards knock on your door? I've never had one knock on my door. I had one show me her boobs one night. I parked in the back of this parking lot. You know what? Screw it. I parked at the Petro in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. And it was early in the morning. It was probably like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I parked, and I was sitting doing my end-of-day paperwork and stuff like that, and I look up, and there's this lady walking with a gimp, right? Like this. And I just look up, and I went like this and waved, just went hi, and looked back down, and all of a sudden I look, and she's by my window. So I roll my window down, I'm like, yeah, and she's like, she pulls out her boob right out of her shirt. Dude, just went like this. Can I get in your truck? And I was like, nope, sorry. Rolled the window up. No bullshit. 2 trucks down from me. It was a blue, Cascadia or blue Volvo. I can't remember which one. That guy opened his passenger door and she got in. There was a spot in between me and him. And he opened his passenger door and she got in. But I'll never forget it. She was walking with a little gimp step. You know what I mean? It was quite funny. Quite funny. Yeah, K Campbell 150 or 510. We all need consistent pay. You know what I mean? And there's times being an owner operator that your business might not generate a profit for the month. Like that happens. That's happened to me a few times, because of catastrophic breakdowns, and then you're stuck with no revenue. You're sitting, waiting, spending money in hotels, flights back to Minnesota, flights from Minnesota back to wherever your truck is, where at the end of the month, you're not profitable. You haven't made any money. You know what I mean? That's why it's so important to in my mind, work efficiently so that you can save as much money as possible. Like right now, there's a beautiful W900 pulling out in front of me. Gorgeous truck. Downside is it's a flat top, hauling a reefer trailer. That guy's probably getting like 5 miles a gallon, if he's lucky. Even if he's just running local, like if he's running local, he's probably only getting 4.5, 5 miles a gallon. Nice looking truck, but ain't for me. Will be one day. Will Burner says, lot lizards don't knock on doors very often anymore. They don't have to. You can order a woman to your truck through your phone now. It's as easy as ordering a pizza. Oh. You know more than me, Will Burner. You Canucks do some crazy stuff. I'm at the Carlisle Giant Company as we speak. That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, stop at the Petrol and go park. You know where the shop is? Go park on that end of where the shop is. I think there's room for maybe like 10 trucks over there. That's where I was parked that night. I'll never forget it. Oh shoot, I can't see. There we go. K-Poppin'? Did I say that right? I doubt it. Yeah, it's true. In my situation, like I live little far from US. I want to travel there soon and get a job. And one of my friends tell me that to be a truck driver, I can get pay. So, man. I don't want to be rude. Yep. You know what? The standards for getting a CDL license are freaking too low. I'm sorry. Standards for getting a CDL license is too low. I would recommend anybody coming over here to get a CDL. I look at it like this. If you can read and write and speak the language, you should be entitled to get a CDL. If you can't, it makes it difficult. It makes it very difficult. No, man, I'm from northern Minnesota. I ain't scared to drive in the winter at all. That part of another thing about being a business, and being a professional driver in general. Even no matter what company you work for, if you don't feel safe, I don't care if it's wintertime, summertime, fall, spring, don't drive. Don't drive. If you don't feel safe, park the damn truck. No load is worth your life or anybody else's life. Bottom line. If you're late, you're late. If they threaten you, tell them to go kick rocks. You know what I mean? We're professional drivers. You know what I mean? That's the truth. We need to act like it. Part of acting like it is when we feel uncomfortable, don't do something. Get out, look, But no, I'm not scared to drive in the winter. I'm from northern Minnesota, man. Hell, I go sit out on a bucket in minus 35 degree weather and try and catch me some fish. Trucking King, what's going on, man? How's trucking? I've been parked since April. Man, like I shared earlier, trucking's been really good for me. I don't work solely off the spot market, though. the lanes that I run when I do work the spot market, I've actually seen an uptick in the rates per mile. I have my thoughts on that and my reasoning, but I'm going to keep that to myself right now. But yeah, it's not bad. LOL, I got mine last year in 2 weeks. 1 week backing, 2 weeks driving. Standards are trash. They are. They are. It's making wages stay low because anyone can get a CDL in 5 seconds. You know, that's a good topic. I never looked at it that way. I never looked at it that way. But you're probably smack on. In Ontario, Canada, there are certain areas where you can have zero trucking experience and buy your CDL for $500. It's pathetic. The standards are trash. Man, that is crazy. That is crazy. I didn't pay anything for my CDL wheel burner, and I'm not from Ontario. I've been to Ontario for hockey and fishing. I got my CDL so long ago, it was old school way. I feel like an old timer saying that. I kind of miss the old days of trucking, man. I kind of miss more of the outlaw style. I really do. Why can't I get my paperwork? Burner floppy. What are you talking about? Corporations are destroying trucking. What year did you get your CDL? That would have been 99. 99 is when I would have got my CDL. I worked for a company and I was a helper. I shared this the other night too. I was a helper in the truck. I worked for a construction supply company, and my driver, who I worked with for about a year, kept telling me I needed to get my CDL license. And back then, I stayed up late at night. I was playing cards with friends, had a girlfriend. I would stay up and drink. So I'd get to work and I would just fall asleep in the truck until we got to the job site. Matter of fact, I brought a pillow to work with me. And I'd lean it against the window and fall asleep. And he kept telling me, hey, you should get your CDL. And back then I was making, $450, $500 a week. And I thought, man, I don't, what he made per hour, I looked at it like, man, I don't know if I want to, I thought it paid more than it did. And I was like, that's a lot of responsibility. But then I ended up getting it. And it was, for the direction I was going in life at that time and everything else going on, it was the best thing for me to get my CDL. And I'm glad I did. What do we got here? Wages are low because guys are coming into the industry and taking rates that us vets would laugh in their face if even offered. Yeah, but you know what? I've thought about that a lot. And it's hard to compete, right? Very difficult to compete. But $1 to us means we owe 25 cents, right? $1 to somebody not from here is life changing. It's just the reality. It's just the reality. $1 to us means we owe 25 cents. $1 to somebody from, I'm saying, like almost like a third world country or a less prosperous country, $1 to them is life changing. And if they can keep a quarter of that dollar and send it back to where they're from, they're providing for their family. I don't know if that's right or wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not, you know, I'm not paid to think if that's right or wrong. I just know that that's the reality. You know? And I know if I was in a position that I had nothing, and I would do anything for my kids. I would do anything for my kids. Anything. If I didn't live where I live. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that story. I don't know if that's true or not. Could be. So, by the way, is it hard to be a truck driver? I mean, lifestyle? And yeah, because some people told me that they need to cook in the truck and sleep in it like all day. So I cook in my truck. You're eating much healthier if you're cooking in your truck, as long as you're not eating a bunch of preservatives. Like, I do a lot of my own cooking in the truck. I got a bodega cooler, which is a refrigerator and freezer. So, like, I got frozen, you know. So I eat, let me be clear too, make fun of me. Like, I eat a vegan diet. So this is like plant-based ground beef. I got frozen vegetables. I got all kinds of stuff. Got salad in here. I got all kinds of stuff. I cook in my truck, and I sleep in my truck. I shower in at truck stops. I shower in other people's piss. You know, the lifestyle is what you make it. Plain and simple. Lifestyle is what you make it. Seems like a box truck is more value, less expensive, everything cheaper, more cents per mile. You know, there is box truck work. I don't do any of it, but I know that there's box truck work. Yeah, they're cheaper, you know what I mean? But you can also only haul, you know, what, 26,000 pounds? Or you can only weigh 26,000 pounds? Some are probably even less than that. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Sprinter van work. There's all kinds of stuff you can do in trucking. You don't have to own big trucks and big trailers, you know what I mean? Mindy, did I say that right? Mindy, my dad's been a truck driver since he was 16. He is 40 now. Yeah, kind of like me. I wasn't 16. I was 18 going on 19, and I'm 44 now. I'm really thinking about going to school and getting mine as well. Well, Mindy, you know, it's your dad would be the one to ask. You know, you've grown up as you know, you're a child of a truck driver. Based on your name, I don't want to say the wrong thing. You're a child of a truck driver, so you know what a truck driver goes through, and you know the lifestyle better than anybody. You know, kids live it. You know, there's lots of sacrifices, no matter what type of trucking you do. Yes and no. Yes and no, mister. I did it to see if I did it because I had a friend who got out of the military a couple of years ago, and at the beginning of every year he does a couple of years as a vegan diet, or a couple of months of a vegan diet, and then a couple of months of a vegetarian diet, just to make sure that he has like self-control. And because he was, a 30-year military guy. So like for 30 years he was like told what to do. And so now that he's not in the military, he does things to like make sure that he's what's that word? I know I just said it. Anyways, so then I started the vegan diet, and I saw a bunch of differences. I shared this earlier. Like, I have arthritis and stuff, and broken bones from hockey and fighting when I was younger, and so I started like my joints and everything were hurting really bad. And then when I started this vegan diet, like I just started feeling better. I was saying earlier, I kind of want to add stuff back into my diet to see if I still feel good. And then if I add something and my body starts hurting or I don't feel like I have energy, that was a big change. Like I have way more energy now than I ever have. I didn't do it to like lose weight. I've never been like a very big guy. Might carry an extra 10 pounds at the most. You know what I mean? I'm not a big guy. I stand 5'10", 5'11". I'm 185 pounds. You know what I mean? I'm not a very big guy, but I just feel better, so I stayed with the diet. Yeah, it's a lot better than fast food. Gotta head to work. Have a great day and be safe out there, Scott. Yeah, you too, Reed. Take it easy, man. Whoever wanted to know my name, there's my name. Mister, the cheaper and easier an industry is to get in, the more competitive it is. Look at the lawn care, for example. It's cutthroat business. It is so easy versus a pilot. They beg you and pay you $300,000 a year to work 3 days. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know much about the lawn business except when I was a kid and cut the neighbor's grass for $5. Has it gone up since then? I've been driving truck all my life. I can truly say I'm glad that none of my children decided to do it. They all went to college and university and did better than me. Yeah, that's what I want for my kids. I'll be honest. I don't want my kids to do this, and none of them are. None of them are interested in it, which is fantastic. Fantastic. I wouldn't say that this is bad. It's just, you always want better for your kids, My parents wanted me and my brother to, like, do better than they did in life, you know what I mean? I want my children to do better than what I did, Crazy's in the house. Do you have a specific route you drive on? Yeah. In the industry, we call it lanes. I run from Minnesota or Wisconsin out to the East Coast, and then I run back to the Midwest. I don't travel really west of I-35. Don't go much further south than like Kentucky. I'm 25 and my dad told me that I could be his rider with him, but I want to be able to drive as well. Well, then do it. If your dad's willing to help you, I think that's a great bonding experience too. And that's like the father coming out in me. There's things that I've bonded with my kids over the years, mainly sports. I grew up in a very athletic family and my children are very athletic. You know what I mean? And sports played a very pivotal role in my life, and it's played a pivotal role in my kids' lives. And we've bonded over that, long drives, flights places, hotels for a week at a time at tournaments and stuff like that, Good morning, happy to meet you. You can get your permit, and that's good for 1 year. Yes, it is. I pay 70 every 2 weeks for lawn service. Man, $70? So you pay $140 a month for lawn care? I'm in the wrong business. Do you have a big yard? I make my kids cut my grass. I would hire a neighbor kid. Matter of fact, you know what? We had like 3 young kids that came to the door this summer, and we're like kind of doing that. Like, hey, do you want us to pick weeds or this and that? And my wife said, oh, no, sorry, because my wife loves doing that stuff. But then she was complaining about picking the weeds in the garden and stuff like that. I said, why don't you go hire those neighbor kids? Like, have them come over one morning and pick all the weeds, you know. I pay them $10, $15 each, you know. They're young. Like, that's a lot of money to you. Well, maybe not anymore. But, I don't know. Back then, pay them some money. Have them come over. I think once all of my kids are out of the house, that's what I'll do. I used to hire a guy to come and plow our driveway because I'm not at home. But then my parents bought me for Christmas this really nice snowblower, and my wife and kids love using it, so I don't pay that guy to plow my driveway anymore. Which, that was a lot of money now I think about it. It was like $50 a time. I don't have a very big driveway. Mindy's dad goes all over the U.S. and Canada. Be a fun way to see things if you haven't. When I say travel and see things, you're seeing at 65 miles an hour through a window, but you know, you still see it. You still see, you know, the skyline of Manhattan and stuff like that. And you know, if you stop at the Vince Lombardi Travel Plaza, you could Uber, you know, to places. Is it possible to work out on the road like at a commercial gym? Yeah, some gyms will allow you to. Oh, that's right. We have to leave our doors open here. I was like, that prime. Still, you should leave your door. You should not drive it like that. His door's just going like this. That's so bad for the hinges. Yeah, there's some gyms will allow you to like park there, or you can bobtail there and shower and work out. I have a jump rope and some free weights in my truck. Not that I really work out anymore. I'm 44, man. Like, I don't give a shit anymore. You know, like if I got a couple extra pounds on here when I take my shirt off and when I'm sitting on the beach in South Padre, I don't give up. I don't care. I just don't care anymore. I do get out and walk, though. I think that's important. Get out and move around. Get out and, you know, I stop probably every 5 hours and get out of my truck for 15 minutes. Do some stretches. Walk around a rest area for a little bit. Sometimes I find trails to walk on. Because like I said, I love the outdoors. I'm from northern Minnesota, so like I like the woods, I like rivers, lakes. So like I'll find like little fishing holes and stuff like that. Morning Fate from Steering Wheel Burner Express. Oh, good morning. Better for people who get the green card and know. Yeah, I know nothing about that stuff, man. I'm sorry. Does your truck stay with you at home when you're not running? So I pay to park my truck about 25 miles away from where I live, but I can bobtail, so I don't want to share too much. Like, I should not park my tractor in my driveway. In the city where I live in a very ritzy community, Not because I'm rich, just because I got lucky and I'm good with money. But I live in a cul-de-sac, and all my neighbors are cool. All my neighbors think it's cool that what I do for a living, because they all have young kids, and their young kids, when the truck's in the driveway, like to come over and, you know, look at the truck, pretend they're driving the truck, you know what I mean? So occasionally I will drop my trailer where my spot is and bobtail home. I don't do that as much as I used to, though, just because all it will take is the city driving around one day and be like, oh, we're fining this guy, you know what I mean? I live in an area that they don't even want you parking your boat in the driveway, you know what I mean? Which is ridiculous, because we live in Minnesota. But yeah, my neighbors don't mind, so I do it every now and then. Yeah, I appreciate that. I try to say, hey, great live, a lot of useful information, as I'm exhausted now. I'm like falling asleep. So, how many days are you home a month? Well, like I said earlier, I don't know if you heard. So the lane I run, I can usually get home for a night or two and then get back on the road. But what I'm doing right now is I'm running like 3 weeks, and then I go home for 7-8 days. I got back to work on September 4th after taking, I think I was off a long, because I bought a camper and put a camper on a piece of property and wanted to go spend time at the camper. You know what I mean? So I took some time off and went and did that. It all depends. I said earlier, my wife travels doesn't travel, goes on like vacation to northern Minnesota and stuff like that with friends and family. So if she's not going to be home and I was planning on being home, I'll just keep running. You know what I mean? Or if the kids have something going on that they want me at, I do my very best to be home. But right now I'm running like 3 weeks, and then I'll go home for a week. And that seems to be like a good schedule. I make really good revenue doing that, and it's just enough time where like I'm ready to get home. You know what I mean? Now, I have stayed on the road for 8-9 weeks at a time, and that's just, I don't like doing that anymore. Have I ever seen the black dog? Don't know what that means. Gotta head out to work. Have a good day. Yeah, you too, Mindy. Have a good day. You be safe out there too, and good luck if you decide to get your permit and ride with your father. All right, y'all. I'm gonna end this. One more quick thing. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's literally would help me. Like, that helps me. I'm trying to grow my channel. I should do more content. That definitely helps. But I'm doing more lives. They're usually early in the morning. I've noticed early in the morning, for some reason, people are awake. But yeah, I'm gonna end this live now. Hope everybody has a great day. Wheel Burner, Jerome, everybody, have a good day. Take care, everybody.